I'm a new recent listener. I think you are fucking amazing. I wish there were more people like you. I just think I try and catch listening to your station whenever I get a chance. I just think you're straight up. I love the way you just say it like it is. It's fucking amazing. Too bad there are not more guys like you.
I like what you do because not only are you helping these gentlemen, you're also helping us. Because as a woman, I don't want a wimpy guy that I can walk all over. And believe me, I have a million of those guys chasing after me, and they completely turn me off. Women like a strong man. Women like a confident man. They like men that have a life. And they like men that don't drop everything, just because she snaps her fingers.
Have more respect for men that are like you three that keep the shit 1,000 than these motherfuckers that are thirsty and come at right. But it's more of the game, the storylines, the lies. If I had a man that kept shit 1,000 with me and I know he's 100% real, yeah, we're fucking every day if it's by my choice. But motherfuckers out there don't know how to keep shit real, and they think they about real, and they not. They think they know how to fuck, and they don't.
The Man Mindset Show celebrates the strength, wisdom, insight, and purpose men carry throughout their life and throughout this world. Our purpose is to develop strong character, communication skills, and teach a secret system of power, hidden knowledge that will lead you through your own personal development and growth. You will learn new information to help you develop a proactive direction and goals, and also how to control sexual thoughts and outcomes. Most importantly, you will gain the ability to produce desired results in any endeavor undertaken, ultimately leading to a realization of your own purpose and mission in life. Learn how to reinvent yourself and to see the world with a new set of eyes without any self-sabotage or excuses. It's game time!
Oh, yes. What's up, everybody? Get your crayons out. It's your boy, the Dean, www.themanmindset.com. Guys, we got a very, very special show for you today, guys. Y'all want to call in 347-838-8420. That is 347-838-8420. I want to welcome you all to the show, guys. Man, let me tell y'all something. Don't forget, guys, tomorrow myself and Rosebud are doing the D&W show, 12 o'clock noon, so make sure y'all check that out. But, guys, let me cut all the bullshit. We got to get into this, man. Let me tell you guys something, man. You know that it is rare that a motherfucker can come on my show and chop it up with your boy, the Dean. Because you know, hey, I'm all the way from Planet Man, and there's not too many of us like there. And when we find those like our own, we got to appreciate these guys, prop them up, and let people see, it's great. Greatness comes in all colors, sizes, shapes, manhood. That's what we all about. And guys, let me tell you about this guy. If y'all know me, if y'all remember, years ago, I was lucky enough to interview this guy, and man, guys, we talked at least 5-6 hours just shooting this shit. And I finally, thanks to my boy Alan Roger Curry, Mode1.net, he got us back together, and I asked this gentleman to come on. And let me tell you guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this man coming on. And let me just break it down to you real quick about this man. His man known as David X from DavidXDayton.com. He has been coaching men for the past 15 years. Over time, he has learned exactly how men are going wrong and how to correct the behaviors that enable these guys from not having the success that they need. And the thing is what David does is he teaches honest and simple techniques. The old saying goes, the truth will set you free. And it happens to be the very thing that will dramatically increase your odds of getting laid with the hottest women that you can imagine. Because honestly, if you can't get the girl, nothing will, man. And this man here is a bad motherfucker. You know how bad he is, guys. Because hey, guys, I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm in a good goddamn mood, man. And you know what? For those who don't know the great David X, what I have done is I've grabbed a clip of that man. I want you to hear this motherfucker. This man is the motherfucking shit. I got nothing but love for him. Let me find that David X clip. Here we go. Check this out, guys. Sit back and relax. Check out this David X clip before we bring this man on. Check this out, guys.
My father taught me to have a good friend, you have to be a good friend. Now, how can this woman be my good friend? Well, number one, you have some hot friends to introduce me to? No, they don't want to introduce you. They want to keep you on a string and use you. What do you want to go to a show with me? Do you want to go out to dinner with me? You want to cook for me? You want to clean my house? You can be my friend. What do you want me for as a friend? Oh, you're a nice guy, I want to be your friend. No, what she's saying to you is, you're a nice guy, I want to use this shit out of you. But you understand, it's very simple. She wanted to be my friend. Now, if she would have said, take me to the party, we'll have dinner, and after you come back to my place and we'll fuck like crazy, I might have thought of that. How many women have gone out with you guys and just used you? They had no intention of sleeping with you. I keep telling guys, ask yourself one question when a woman talks to you and says things to you. And that is, would I say to her what she's saying to me? And 100% of the time I get from all the guys, I would never say that to them. But they're allowed to say that to you because you're stupid. You're thinking about what they're saying. They don't respect you, and if they don't respect you, you don't respect them and you don't want to be with them. Honesty, trust, and respect. It's a simple rule.
God damn, dog. Man, dog. That's... Guys, how can I not fuck with this man? He is David X from DavidXDating.com. He is a dating coach. He is a man above men. He will teach you how to overcome, approach anxiety and rejection. He will show you how to build confidence, how to build attraction, how to meet women without using pickup lines of routine. He will show you how to master the art of conversation with a woman. And he, at the end of the day, show you how to be yourself, be direct, be honest with meeting women. Guys, I want to welcome you all. David X, thank you for coming on to the show, brother. How are you doing, man?
Wonderful. That's such a great introduction. I hope I can live up to it.
Man, come on. You a man, baby. You a man. You can live up to it, man.
You know, I got to tell you something. When I was listening to the promos of your show, you had that girl talking about what kind of man she wants. And that's exactly what I tell everybody. A woman doesn't want a pussy. A woman wants a man with a set of balls between his legs.
Yes.
You know,
absolutely.
It's so and they like women. The women like men who are tougher, who know what they want. Listen, you meet a woman. Okay, she looks at you. There's maybe a physical attraction. But women don't go for the physical attraction. A lot of men don't understand this. And you talk to her and you say, you know, I don't want to seem like I'm bragging, but if I had you in my bed, I'd fucking probably go down on you for 2 hours till you exploded. You know, and, oh, you're a pig. Yeah, you're right. I'm a pig. Yeah, you want to call me whatever you want to call me. Doesn't matter. That woman, if she didn't say fuck off and leave, she's very interested. They want a man who's confident. You know, it's so simple. You know, I just had a case with a student. I was telling him, you got to do this and just go after what you want, not what they want. Don't think about what they want. And after 3-4 girls used them, he calls me up and says, could you tell me what's wrong with me? So I tell him, listen, I want you to concentrate really hard. I'm going to tell you the truth. You are stupid. you're dreaming in Technicolor that they're going to have mercy on your soul. As soon as you give an inch, they take the rest. They're going for the jugular.
Yes.
Now,
you know what, David?
This was 2 months ago. He called me up the other day. The last girl he met, he says, you know what, I'm not interested in a relationship. I just want a one-night stand, and he ended up taking her to a hotel.
Wow. Wow. You know, isn't it amazing, David, that, you know, everybody thinks because we're on the internet. Again, we old school. You're old school like I am. You know, back in our day, if we wanted to talk to some pussy, we had to get up and talk to her, you know, and now with the internet the way it is, you know, guys like us can go on the internet and meet women anywhere, anytime, any place, and it doesn't matter. But for some odd reason, David, and I want to ask you, why do you think these young men give so much power to a total, complete stranger, someone they never met before, and they give their balls and their spine to them? Why is that, David?
I'll tell you something. It's like foreplay to these guys is an hour of begging. Please fuck me, please fuck me, please fuck me, please fuck. They'll do anything to get fucked, and they don't get fucked, but they stay on the hook. You know, if you go fishing and you tease a fish to the amount of what women tease men, you would be attacked by the cruelty to animals, people.
Yeah.
You don't, if you teased a dog or a cat, like these women tease men, you would be charged with animal cruelty. No. But they're allowed to take these young guys who are, and like I say, stupid because, you know, I came up with 2 rules. It's so basic. If you listen to those rules, you can't go wrong. You don't need anybody. Rule number 1, who cares what they think? And rule number 2, you're the most important person in the relationship. A woman wants a guy who thinks he's important.
Oh my goodness! Right? You said rule number 1. Say rule number. What's rule number 1 again?
Who cares what they think?
And rule number 2.
You're the most important person in the relationship.
Yes, and you know what, guys? What he's saying, and let me break this down and man to you guys, is that, you know what? You don't give a fuck what somebody says because you know what? She's a stranger. She has to prove to you guys why she should be sucking your dick. But unfortunately, David, for a lot of these guys, they think because they've been watching it on TV or they listen to mom or their little silly ass friends that they got to juggle, they got to do circus tricks, they've got to roll on cartwheels and all this other stuff and beg, chop down trees, David, just to get a quote-unquote phone number. And to me, that's not even the game, getting a number from a bitch. Who gives a fuck about a number? What's your take on that, David?
You know, I got to tell you, that's a very interesting subject because the first time I got into this, the guy that brought me in, he brought me to a lair meeting. I never heard about a lair meeting. What kind of fucking lair? I know what a lair is, but a lair meeting. What's a lair meeting? So I go there, there's like a dozen guys sitting around, and they're talking about bumping into girls and getting their number and talking about the lines they come up with. I go, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? This is a jerkle circle. Go out and meet women. Don't talk about what you're going to do when you meet the girl. Oh, I lost my number. Can I get yours? Stupid. And what is it all about? These guys are afraid. What they're afraid of, I can't figure out, to be honest with you, because there's nothing to be afraid of. They act, you know, look, I look at it this way. If I was a woman, and a guy, maybe a guy wasn't attractive, but the guy was a tough son of a bitch and knew what he wanted, I'd get turned on to him. Because I like tough broads, too. They turned me on. I remember I went into a club one time, and it was my favorite club to go to, and I already fucked about 60% of the girls in the club. And this girl comes up to me and says, "You trying to fuck every girl here?" And I go, "Maybe not you," just like that. Because she's, maybe not you. And she gets all huffy and goes away. And that girl hung around me for weeks. She buzzed around me every time I came in there, wouldn't leave me alone for a second. And then I ended up going out with her and fucking her, and I said, "What was the deal?" She says, "Oh, you turned me on from the first time I saw you in there." As soon as I picked up a girl, she got turned on. Well, that led me to new ideas. The next time I told a girlfriend, I says, "You know what? Which girl do you like? Maybe you can pick up a girl for the two of us." Things like that evolve.
Yeah.
I'm going to a new things that guys dream about and jerk off while they're asleep. I'm living it. I remember one time I was dating this absolutely gorgeous girl. She was the closest to a 10 I ever had. She won a beauty pageant, and she was just gorgeous. And she had 12 sisters. And she says to me one day, she says, "Are you going to try to fuck all my sisters?" So I said, "Not the ones who are under 17. I fucked 3 of her sisters. But then I did something stupid. See, no matter how smart you are, I figured, hey, I'm fucking your sisters. Why don't we do like a threesome or foursome together? And that was it.
Come on, Dave. You can't have them sisters licking on each other and stuff, man.
It was just a challenge. Listen, one day I'll sit down with you and I'll give you my bucket list, and you'll be laughing for a month.
Wow. You know what? And going back to the club thing, I think a lot of guys don't realize that a lot of women, they kind of tell you, especially these regular guys. On this show we call them males, because calling them a man would be disrespectful to you, David. But these males, they hang around women and they get information of how they should be. They sit there and listen. "Oh, David, he's such a jerk. He's such an asshole. All he wants is sex from me. He tells me what's on his mind. He's so selfish. He's so arrogant. He's so conceited." And then these males, David, would then turn around and be like, well, I'm a good guy. And she's like, "Well, yes, you are. Any woman would be happy to be with a guy like you. But can we finish talking about David? Do you know where he's at? Do you know what he's doing tomorrow? Do you know what club he's going to?" Why is it they do that, David? Break that down for me, sir.
Well, I'll tell you, it's very simple. It's like, I remember the first time I went to a club and got in a situation like this. This really attractive girl comes up to me and says, "I heard a lot of bad things about you." So I look at her square on. I go, "Everything you heard is true. Why am I going to argue with her? She thinks I'm bad. Let her think I'm bad. What do I give a shit? You want to think? You want to think I'm bad? The only time you should think I'm bad is when when your ass has got my dick in it. That's when think I'm bad. What the fuck? You think I'm bad? No, the girls like the bad boy. I remember I told one girl, I says, one day we're going to go out and I'm going to fuck you up the ass. She says, "I never. And I said, "Well, then you don't have a chance to go out with me." And I left her alone and she came after me. Very simple. I'm after you.
David.
I got to tell you a quick story. I went out with a guy. He went out with this girl for a year and a half. And a year and a half, I know he was getting a blowjob, but I know he wasn't fucking her. So I'm thinking, fuck, what's going on? She'll give you a blowjob, she won't let you fuck her? So he breaks up with her, and I take her out. So she starts to give me a blowjob. I flip her over, and I shove it up her right away. She goes, oh, I never let my other boyfriend do that to me. I said, who cares what you did with him? She did everything with me, and didn't give me an argument. With this guy, she drove him crazy. No. He used to come to me and say, how do you know if she's a lesbian or not? I go, she sucks your dick, she's not a lesbian. You know? But she had to control him. It was control. It's better than the fucking remote control.
347-838-8420, 347-838-8420. My guest is David X from DavidXDating.com. David, I want to ask you, because I mean, I guess we can. I mean, we just chopping it up anyway. But how does it feel knowing that not only do you intrigue women that are single, but you intrigue women that are married? I mean, they're intrigued by the arrogance, the assertiveness, the leadership, the confidence, and all that other stuff. Can you tell me how do you manage to hang out, or if you do, I don't know you do, I want to ask you that. Do you hang out with married couples? Because I've always had problems hanging out with married couples because I always find their women are gravitating to our conversations and things like that. What's your take on that, David?
Well, I have to tell you, I could tell you about 4 couples that we used to be friendly with, and we don't see any one of them now. And it's all because the wives were hitting on me. And they'd say, and you know what? I got to tell you, so we went out for dinner one night, and I'm with my wife and my friend and his wife, and she starts ragging on him like I would, if I did that to you, we could no longer be friends. She looks at the guy and says, oh, you don't even know how to fuck anymore. You don't like sex, and you're terrible in bed. You shake your ass a couple of times and you roll over, and, you know, you're so unromantic. And she's ragging on the guy all night. And then she says to me, to my wife, she says, Shirley, now you have to remember, I'm not married. We're just together for a long time. So she says, Shirley, what does David do to piss you off? I look at her, and I look at my wife, and I says, I'll tell you one thing. If she talked to me like you're talked to him, I'd slap her face and I'd never see her again. So ask her what the fuck you want. And she looks at the other woman there, and she goes, I have a great relationship with him. Just like that. If you would talk to me like that, ragging on me in front of my friends, you see, there's a key. I live by honesty, trust, and respect. How can you respect a person if you do that to them? How can you respect a person if you try to take away their dignity? Now, it seems like maybe I'm not David X when I'm talking about that. Maybe I'm some psychologist, but no. That's the key. They take away these guys' dignity. Mm-hmm. I tell guys like that, tell them to fuck off. Goodbye. You know, if they're treating you so badly, what do you need them for? There's plenty of people out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to give you a damn for that, dog. Damn. That was dope as fuck, David. But you know what? How crazy is it that even doing that one thing you said, it intrigues them so much, it draws out a curiosity in them. It doesn't matter if they have a ring or not, but they're so curious because you know what? They know they're not getting it at home with their boyfriends or husbands. And just the attitude alone, because I always say, David, the way you are outside the bedroom is the same way you are in the bedroom. And if you live by the code you live by, then you're going to have her face in a pillow, her ass up in the air, and you're going to be beating the monkey meat out that pussy, man.
You know, it's a funny thing, okay, because what happens is guys who are chasing the pussy, not getting it, they don't know what's going on. And women, I'll tell you, it's not always the women's fault. It has a lot to do with the fact that men get lazy in a relationship.
Yes.
That's what I tell all my students. Getting a relationship is not the hard part. Keeping it is the hard part.
Right.
Because they get lazy. No, I'm a tough guy. I don't get lazy. I'm very demanding, and that's the way I like my life. And my wife does anything she can possibly do for me. She's a fabulous person. And I say that not trying to boast or anything, but I'm telling you, I looked for a long time and I found the best person I could possibly find. And she, for her, number one is taking care of me, making sure I'm happy.
Yes.
And I got to tell you something. Maybe I'm a male chauvinist, but I don't give a fuck. It suits me fine,
Yes. Yes.
I'm not afraid to let people know. I'm not afraid to let people know. And you know what the thing is? All these guys get lazy with their women, and then their women start wiggling and looking for somebody else. And when they see a guy who's not lazy, that's who they want. Now, women are very catty. Women will fuck their best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Women don't care who they're going after, who it's going to hurt. I was watching this show on TV, and this woman was fucking her. This guy was fucking this woman and her mother. You know. These shows.
Dude, they just don't give a fuck. 347-838-8420. That's 347-838-8420. We're here with David X. David, let me ask you something, man. Let's go back in time real quick. When did you realize that you had something different from everybody else? When did you realize that, you know what, being nice is not the way to get pussy? When did that happen for you, man?
I'll tell you when it happened. I was about 16 years old. And in those days, you had to hunt for pussy.
Yes.
You really had to hunt for pussy. And one day I'm talking to this woman, and I'm telling her, like, I'm looking for a steady fuck. You know, not a girlfriend, but just a steady fuck. And we tagged up. And I fucked her for 4 years. Our deal was this. Whenever we were horny, we couldn't find anybody else, we called each other up and we'd get together. And she was the one who educated me. Because what happened was, at the beginning, we were on equal ground. And she was even teaching me a little bit. But I remember she always used to tell me, you know, you can't get lazy with women. And I didn't understand it at the beginning. And then later on, when I started getting lazy, she got busy. And I stopped getting lazy, and I saw more of her. And then the more I saw her, the bad thing was that she fell in love with me. Because that's what happens. And they wanted to change to a relationship. And I said, look, when you met me, you read me the riot act. It suits me fine. I like the relationship as it is. I don't want to change it. And she said to me, if you don't change it, we're going to not see each other anymore. I said, that's the price you pay. But most guys I know would have fucking played around with her for another year trying to appease her so they could still fuck her.
Yeah. And the thing about that, guys, is what David is saying to you is that, and this is what we always tell you on the Man Mindset, your last name has to mean everything. She should know, based on who you are, of where you stand. Now, again, they're going to try you. They're going to test you. They're going to sit there and see if they can get away with shit. But like David said, you know what? They had the rules set up. And David, let's talk, man. Because how many times have you had that booty call? Y'all agree. Like you said, all we doing is fucking. That's all we're going to do is fuck. You know, I see you at 3 o'clock. You know, I'm not going to run behind you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. See who you want, go to eat, blah, blah, blah. They're like, okay, that's great. And then when you lay it on them, and like you say, be the amusement park guys, that means you do everything under the sun and then some. Why is it that they always want to change the terms of the relationship, David? What's your take on that, man?
Well, they want control. They don't realize it. They want control only to get control. They really don't want to keep control. But it's like that's their hobby. You know how I equate it? You ever see a cat with a mouse or a bird? They don't kill them right away and eat them. They play with them for a while. They get enjoyment with teasing them and playing with them. It's like a woman with a guy. It's exactly the same thing. She'll tease you and play with you till you're useless and then throw you away.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I don't know why. I wouldn't treat a woman like that. So I can't relate to that because, no, I pride myself. I don't treat people badly.
Right. Treat people the way you want to be treated, basically. You know, it's no reason to. And that's, you know, that's what's funny about these young men today, David. It's like when they don't get the woman or she turns them down or they feel like she's using them, they want to sit there and call her all kind of bitches. She's not a bitch. She just doesn't find anything special about you where she wants to suck your dick and give you some pussy. What's your take on that, man?
Well, you know, I find a lot of times with women, men aren't like that. You see, men are very visual. You see a good-looking girl, you want to fuck her right away. A woman sees you. She might not want to fuck you. She might want to test you. You understand? They like to test you, to give you a few tests. They like to tell you, I'm not going out with you. I'm not giving you my numbers. Fine. You know, they would like to test you. So I don't play their game. I just do what I want to do.
You hear that guy? Go ahead, please continue. I'm sorry. Please continue.
2 weeks later, you go back to the bar, and then she's chasing you around. Because any guy that she's met in the interim hasn't satisfied her mentally. She doesn't feel romantically inclined to him. You know, I don't know if you ever saw the video clip, Vicky Cristina in Barcelona.
No, tell us about it.
Here's a video clip with a guy. The whole movie it's not important, but there's a video clip with the guy, and he approaches two girls, and he tells these two girls what he wants. He wants to take them away to a place on his plane, and he's gonna go in the bedroom with both these girls. They're gonna enjoy each other, and they'll have a good time. They'll go out to eat. They'll go see artwork, and then they'll fly him back. And one of the girls wants to go right away, and the other girl starts to give him a hard time. But you can see that she's turned on, and the guy is so straight. When she starts to give her a hard time, he says, listen, I'm not negotiating. I made you an offer. You want to have a good time, you come. You don't. This is the key. He doesn't lie to them, and he doesn't try to trick them. Now, you find a lot of guys, they're right away thinking, how can I trick them to fuck them tonight? How can I trick them? Now, there's where the problem comes in. Girls aren't stupid. They're not stupid. They have to be as aware as men. I have some women clients. I tell them the same thing I tell the guys. It's the same thing. Look for a guy who's honest with you. Find out what you like in the guy. What turns you on about him? You know?
Yeah,
you like
a guy
David, in sailing, or you know, like a guy in boating. You like a guy in horseback riding. Go after what you want, and don't bug the rest around. You know.
Yeah, you know, it's odd to me, David, that when I used to be out there hunting and doing my thing, you know, the first thing they will always say, and I'm sure you understand this, is the first thing, oh, you're one of those guys. You're either a player or you must have a girlfriend or you're seeing a lot of women. And you know what I say, David? Yes, I am seeing a lot of women. But what does that have to do with me and you? And like you said, David, and this is where the guys get it all twisted. They think they need to lie to the woman and tell her, no, I'm not seeing anybody. But what they don't understand, David, is that women love men who are wanted by other women. What's your take on that, man?
Well, you're 100% right, and I'll tell you something else. These women always want a guy who's wanted. No question about it. These women want you, and the trouble is they try to make you think that you want them. You have to tell them exactly what you want them for. You want them for a one-night stand. You want to enjoy them.
Mm-hmm. What's the worst thing they can say, man? The worst, and the funny thing is, guys, when you have the skills or have the man mindset that we're trying to incorporate in you young men, is that it's never your loss. You take a no like the world is coming to an end. Guys, when she says no, that means go find someone else who will. And and if you're doing it correctly, once you take the power out of that pussy, the one that you said no to in the beginning is watching you. The thing about women, David, I want to talk to you about this. When you walk into a club, what these guys don't realize is that these women are sizing every guy up that walks through that damn door. They're walking through the door, go to the wall. Walk through the door, go to the bar. Walk through the door, go to the bathroom. Not one motherfucker walks through that door and starts talking to women. And they don't understand how that shit works. But I want to get your thoughts on that. What's your take on that, David?
You know, I have to be honest with you. I thought it was because of my generation changed. Because I went out with one of my students. He was having a terrible time, and I decided to take him out. I would be first of all, I'm the best fucking wingman you can imagine. So I take him out with me, and we go to this club. And it's right beside the university, so there's a lot of young people there. And I'm there, and there's tables, and on one side are the men sitting in tables, the other side are the women. So I tell my student, I says, go over to that table there. There's 3 women. He goes, oh, there's more than one. I go, I tell you what I used to do. I used to go up to the 3 women like I want to fuck all 3 of them. I'd give them all a compliment. I'd tease all of them, and that's what I would do. And I'd see who I end up with, 1 or 2 or 0. Take my chance. So he says, no, I can't do it. Like most guys, they're afraid to move. So I get up and I walk across by myself. And I'm not a young guy anymore. I walk across to the table and I say to these women, you know, I'm here and I'm freaked out because the men are afraid to talk to you girls, and you are 3 of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. I said, I could take you all home with me. And they start giggling and laughing. So I say, you know, I'm here with a guy, but he's too shy to talk to you. He's so shy he's dying inside. It's one of my students. So I said to the girl, she says, bring him over. So I says, you know what? You would do me a favor. I would take it like a personal favor. I'd like you to bring him here. So she smiles, and I tell her, now you don't realize this. The best guy in the world owes you a favor. It's worth something. Well, so she's smiling ear to ear. She goes over and brings him back to our table. And all night long, she's like paying real attention to me. The other girls are too, but she's paying attention to me. And he says to me later, he says, you think it's because like you're as old as her father? I go, listen, I don't give a fuck how old I am compared to anybody else. I'm not looking at her father when I'm fucking her. You know? This is my favorite joke. I used to have a reputation when I was young. I used to fuck all my friends' sisters because I was ruthless. I had to fuck all their sisters. And when I fucked my friend's sister, I would say to him, "Hey, when's the last time you gave your sister a kiss?" And he'd tell me, and I go, "Oh, so you know what my dick tastes like." You know?
Hey, guys, 347-838-8420. That's 347-838-8420. We are one-on-one with David X from DavidXDating.com. Guys, this is awesome. Guys, if you ever wanted to know, you get to see that with myself and Rosebud, but when you ever want to know what men talk about, have you noticed what he was saying when he was around those women? Think about what he said. He was giving instructions. He was telling them what to do. He wasn't asking any permission. There was not one thing he said to those bitches that were at that table where he was asking for permission. He was being assertive. He was telling them what is, and they started moving, and they were tingling between their coochies because, guys, David, I guess these guys didn't read the memo that said women love dick. Where did these guys forget this, man?
You know, I don't know. It's you know what? I'll tell you what happened. When I was young, when I was in my 30s, one of my friends says to me, he says, "You have to help me and my friends. None of us can get women." He took me to a Lair group. That's the one I was talking about before. So I said, "Look," I said, "I don't believe it's possible," because it was so easy. I'd go out. I'd start talking to I went into a showroom one day, a car showroom, and there was this gorgeous girl sitting at the reception desk. And on the counter, there was this little basket, this aluminum basket, see-through basket, and it had these aluminum see-through balls in them. They were the size of a little bigger than softballs. So I go to her desk. I'm standing in front. I lean over to the side a little bit to where the balls are. I pull 2 balls out. I had them in my hand. I look at her and I go, "Would you like to play with my balls?" The fucking broad went ballistic. She started laughing and giggling. She went red. She was so friendly because I went to her to get a cup of coffee because we were waiting in the showroom. She comes out with small sandwiches and biscuits and cappuccino. She couldn't do enough for me. And all I said to her was, "Would you like to play with my balls?" Mm-hmm. I think it's the best offer she's gotten that week.
And David, the funny thing is, David, is that isn't it amazing that you can go to McDonald's, Wendy's, Walmart, Target, Chick-fil-A, go for pizza, tacos. It doesn't matter. You can go looking for vacuum cleaner parts, audio parts. And isn't it amazing how these women are just, it's like a gravitational pull. It's like you get to the cash register and it's like they just feel like, wow, there's something different about you. They're all into you, and they greet you. Because, well, don't get me wrong, because one thing I teach our guys is greet a woman by her name when you see her at the cash register, because all day nobody's doing that shit. So I always greet with, how you doing and things like that. What's your take on that, man?
Yeah. I'll tell you. I went out the other day. My son had an accident with my car. He hit a deer. And he practically totaled the front end. So while it was in the shop, the insurance company gave us a car for us to rent. So I'm at the rental company waiting to be served, and I tell my son, I go, and my son's 21, I go, the girl's going to serve us. She's pretty cute. He goes, Dad, don't embarrass me. The first thing he said was, "Don't embarrass me." So I'm talking to her. She brings us out to the car, and I tell her, "How old are you?" She says, 20 years old. I go, "Geez, what I could do to you if I was even close to your age. But you got my son here. He can take over for me. And she starts smiling. My son says, "Get in the car, Dad. You're embarrassing me." I don't look at it as embarrassment. She smiled from ear to ear. If she didn't like it, she would have complained I'm harassing her.
Right.
I didn't get any harassment. I got thank you. And when I came back, she broke her ass to come and serve me again. You know, you can tell when and it's like I go out sometimes and my friends say, "How come you get better service than we do?" I says, "Because I always talk to the women, like you say. Doesn't matter if it's Wendy's, McDonald's. If she's cute and she's worth fucking, we'll try to fuck her. You know, hey, how long do you work here? Do you smell like French fries when you finish after a day? It might turn me off. I don't know if we should go out." I say things like that to them. And I don't care what they think or say. Because it's only important what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Yes. That's all. They're going to figure out what I want real quick. Real quick. I don't have to play games. A lot of these guys play these games like they don't think the girl knows they want to fuck them.
Man, dude, hold on. I gotta ask you a question. I mean, let's chop it up. Guys, we're here. 347-838-8420. That's 347-838-8420. Press 1 if you have a question for myself or David. But David, man, what the fuck is up with these bullshit pod relationships where it's like 3 girls, 2 guys, 4 guys, 2 girls? Nobody's trying to fuck these women. They're just no, excuse me. They're trying to fuck them, but they're doing it the wrong way. And then a guy like you, a man like you, waltzes in and cleans up and fucks them all. And can you explain to these dumbass guys why they're going wrong in these silly, Friends, How I Met Your Mother, and Seinfeld pod relationships, man?
When I see the relationship isn't going the right way, I get out of it. Goodbye. I'm not interested. I'm not wasting my time. My time is more precious than you could think it is. And I got to tell you something. A lot of guys don't realize that. All we have on this planet is time.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody wastes your time, that's the crime. That's the crime. Listen, you want to fuck me? Yes, no, okay, bye. You want to fuck me? Let's fuck. You don't want to fuck me? Don't waste my time.
Right.
Go to somebody else you want to fuck. I'm not the only person around. but I don't. You know what? I'll tell you. This is the theory I have. They say that 75% of all women never have an orgasm in their lifetime. Now, the more I ask women if it's true, the more they say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of it has to do with women, with the guys they're with. A lot of guys get on a woman, pump their ass a couple of times, blow their load, and get off. So the women don't get satisfied. I understand that, but you have to go with the figure. Whether you can change anything or not, you have to go with the figure. So that means 75% of the women don't have an orgasm. Now, what does that mean? That means that 75% of the women can manipulate you. They don't get turned on by fucking. They get turned on by driving you fucking crazy. So what I tell guys, I go, listen, you see 4 women. You know that only one of the 4 you're going to fuck. The other 3 are going to drive you crazy. Learn how to distinguish it right away.
Mm-hmm.
There's where the
you're
thing
absolutely
is.
right.
And you're 100% right. These women do it on purpose. They do it on purpose because, other than putting on makeup, spending money on clothing, going out with you and driving you crazy, they have nothing else in their life. believe it or not, a sort of sorry situation. They have nothing else in their life. So yeah, it's not hard for them to drive you crazy. That's one of their enjoyments, is to tease you and drive you crazy.
You know, David, what's amazing is that not only do they want to drive you crazy, but I keep telling these guys out here, at the end of the day, it's all about competition. You either hunting or you're going to be hunted. And these women have learned this true skill of hunting these weak guys down. And again, it's not hunting you down for sex. It's hunting you down for whatever the fuck they want from you. And David, what's your take on that, man? What's your thoughts on these women just using these guys for rides, dinners, drinks, gifts, trinkets, rent paid? What's your take on that, man?
It's definitely a problem. You see, and a lot of that problem comes with the internet, because these guys are going on the internet and they look desperate. Okay, anytime I look at the internet and the girl tells me about the ad she answered, every guy she answered looks desperate. He tries to act cooler than the last guy, but they all look desperate. They're desperate.
Mm-hmm.
And the women aren't stupid. They pick up on that. So there's nobody else around. So they take one of these guys to drive them a little crazy. Even, you know what? I'll tell you. I went out with a girl one time, and she was gorgeous. And she had a body that could kill. My friend went out with her, and 2 blocks from her house, she jumped out of the car and ran away. She couldn't stand him. So I take her out, and he told me to teach her a lesson. That's why I went out with her. So I take her out. So I drop her off 2 blocks from her house, and I tell her, you go home by yourself. This is when you want me, come to my place. She came over that night wearing a blanket. To me, she was fabulous. I had no complaints about her at all. And to my friend, she treated him like shit. Why? I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, David, the thing is, and again, man, there's so many stories of, like, you have your guy friends, like you say, you spoke of highly of, you only have a few friends or friends that, you can talk to that you consider friends. I have associates that back in the day, man, it was like, look, don't ask me to come to the party, because every time you ask me to come somewhere, I'm taking somebody's woman, and then everybody's getting mad at me. Well, what the fuck are y'all going here for? What y'all want to just hang out, pass recipes, ask her about her day at work? How was school? How was the highway? None of these guys are not trying to fuck, David. All it's like I guess in the late '80s when everybody's a winner thing. David, something happened where these young men have not learned about life, and then they get into life or dealing with women, and they fail, man. What's your take on that, big dog?
It's fear. They're afraid of something. I try to get to the root of what they're afraid of. They're afraid of something. What are you afraid of? That she's not going to fuck you? Go to another girl. If she's not going to fuck you by begging her or hanging around, she ain't going to fuck you any faster. And they get used, and then all they're saying to them is, use me again. Oh, you know what? Use me again. Oh, you know what? Wipe your feet on me.
Mm-hmm.
Wipe them harder. It's the same thing. It's the problem. I don't believe the problem's with women. I believe the problem is with men being afraid to say what they want.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like we always, my boy Alan always talk about, mode 1, let the women know what you're thinking. He's absolutely right, man. It's amazing that these guys give this power. I mean, she bleeds once a month, David. All right, let's be honest. She bleeds once a fucking month. All right. And what is so special about her? Matter of fact, a lot of women used to be shocked to hear me tell. Okay, David, check this out. So I go to a party, hanging out with everybody. Like I told you, David, I don't like doing parties because every time I do it, there's either a married chick or someone with a boyfriend that wants to come her little ass over in our little conversation, right? And what these guys would do, they're like, well, pussy, oh, ass, oh, man, look at the titties on her. And then as soon as the woman walks into the group, they stop, and then they're talking about school or job and all these silly things. And then here I am, I'm the only one still talking about titties and ass because, David, hey, she walked into my conversation. And what is amazing, it shocks them, is that then when she realizes that you are an alpha, or you a real man, a pipe-hitting motherfucking man, she will begin to giggle a little bit. Oh, you crazy. What are y'all talking about? And these guys don't understand that, look, you go for what you want. You leave it on the floor at the end of the day. And if you lose, it's not really your loss. It's her loss. What's your take on that, David?
You're 100% right. It's not even a question about it. You know, you talk about the way I live my life. That's what it sounds like. You know, listen, you can't fuck every single girl.
Right.
You know, so, and I got to tell you something. Sometimes, here's another good example. Sometimes they're on their period, they're bleeding, but they'll still tease the shit out of you. There's no way they're gonna fuck, but they're still going to tease the shit out of you. You know, in my generation, whenever you started playing with a woman that was on her period, she'd stop bleeding because she starts coming. But, you know, today, with the blood, you got to be careful. But that's it. They're not going to have, you know, there was a time when I like to fuck on their period because they're hornier, okay? And they would come harder. But, you know, it's through safety times, you can't do that anymore. But the idea is, why would, you know what, it's like this. Here's a nice example. You go out to a bar or club, you see a girl, you start talking to her, and she goes, I have a boyfriend.
Oh, boy.
I tell every guy, when a woman says to me, I have a boyfriend, I don't answer till she said it 3 times. Okay? And usually she never says it again, and it's the first line of defense. I have a boyfriend. Well, I don't care if she has a boyfriend. I got other girlfriends. What does that do? You know, I don't care. I look at it, you know, what is that? I'm not why is she there by herself if she has a boyfriend? You know, these are the things. I had a student in Brussels, okay, and he there they have their lunch, their biggest meal of the day, lunchtime. And the company he worked for bought lunch for all the employees at 12 o'clock, and they had a company deliver it. And the guy that used to receive the lunches and distribute them and broke his leg, and they asked him to take over while he was recuperating for a while. So he calls me up. He says, oh, the girl that walked in that brings the lunches, she's absolutely gorgeous. She wears these tight jeans. She wears sneakers and a blouse. She's absolutely gorgeous. So I tell her, okay, this is what you do. Every day for the next week, when you see her, give her a compliment. Your hair is nice. You got a nice ass. I don't care what you say. Give her a compliment.
Yeah.
So he gives her compliments every day for a week. And then I tell him, on Monday, give her a compliment and say, listen, you have a time to go for coffee with me? So on Monday, she tells him, I have a boyfriend. So he calls me up and says, oh, I don't want to talk to her anymore. I go, no. You continue giving her a compliment every day. Continue. All of a sudden, after the 3rd week, she starts to wear skirts and tight shirts, and she's got her hair done up, and she's got makeup on, and she's got perfume on. So I tell him, I says, do me a favor, call your friend who received the meals before he broke his leg, and ask him how long she's been working there, and how often she gets dolled up. So he calls me back and he tells me she's been working there 7 years, and she never gets dolled up. So I tell him, she's interested in you. This Friday, tell her you want to take her out for coffee. So she looks at him and she says, well, I'm a little busy, da-da-da-da-da. So I told him, if she says for any excuse possible, tell her I only ask 3 times.
Damn.
That's all. I only ask 3 times. So the next week, I tell him, don't give her any more compliments. A week goes by and she's almost rubbing up next to him because he's not saying anything. So I tell him, this week, tell her, I'd like to take you for a coffee or for dinner or something. Well, she went with him. She's living with him now. And she never had a boyfriend. You don't think her boyfriend would have noticed she's getting all hot and dressed up to go to work? This guy showed interest in her, and he was consistent. And when he told her, if you don't 3 times, don't fuck with me, she realized he's not going to. And when he stopped telling her that compliments, she realized she's going to lose him.
Yep.
Now, that's the situation. You have to know what you want, and don't be afraid to. What's the worst could have happened? He'd look for another girl. It's that situation when you really find a woman attractive or to your liking. She might not be attractive to me or to you, but to him she was very attractive. I never saw her. Actually, I did. He sent me a picture. She's really good looking.
Yeah. Hey, glad he got her before you did. You probably got that monkey beat. But go ahead, dog.
I would have fucked her in a heartbeat. But that's what I'm saying. It's what he wanted. He got what he wanted because he was persistent. And it was like, and he fought me. You see, there's the funny thing. He didn't fight her. He fought me with what I'm telling him to do. No, I can't do it anymore. She's going to think I'm weird. She's going to think. I say, stop thinking what she's thinking about. Just do what I'm telling you to do. Focus on what you're doing. There's where the key is. There's the key with all these guys. They all, and you want, then there's this other group of guys who are looking for magic words. Abracadabra, alakazam, and the woman fucks them. They're going to these guys who promise them all. Yeah, they wear top hats, they color their nails, or they entertain the girls in the street. But you know what? I had 3 of those guys as my students, and they all told me the same thing. I can get their number, but I can't close. Yeah, because a girl doesn't want to fuck a clown.
David. And guys, we're here with David X from David X Dayton. Guys, y'all want to call in 347-838-8420. That's 347-838-8420. Press 1. But David, did a guy sound like this, dog?
I don't want to be different. I'm not trying to be different. It's just the way I am. They call me sissy. But I'm not a sissy. I'm not. Why do they call me sissy?
You know what, David? The thing is that a lot of guys, I'm going to ask you about this. A lot of guys think that this whole thing is about the woman. And for me, I always say that they need to learn themselves. It's the battle. It's more the battle that's going on in their head that they're losing than the battle out there. Because like you say, a woman tells you she has a boyfriend. Who gives a fuck? Matter of fact, most women will wear wedding rings just to see what kind of motherfucking man you are at the end of the day. If you want a commitment or you just want to fuck. They're always testing you. But I want to ask you about the battle in the brain with these guys, the one that they're losing right now. Why do they still think the world is flat when it comes to women, man?
You know, it's very frustrating. I feel your frustration because I have the same one. They don't understand what's happening. They don't understand what's going on. They will chase down women, and they will try to act macho. They think they're going to act macho. They don't know what macho is, and they don't know that women don't want a macho guy. They want a guy who knows what he wants. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. This is how I evolved. This is back in the 70s, late 70s, and I'm getting some cigarettes at a bus stop where women used to go inside the store. They would buy pocketbooks. They would buy, to read on the bus. They would buy candy and cigarettes, and So I went in to get my cigarettes, and I talking to the guy, get friendly with the guy, and I tell him, "What are all these racks full of?" He goes, "They're full of romance novels." Who the fuck reads this shit? Who reads this shit? And he goes, "Are you kidding? It pays my rent." I go, "No shit." So I go take a look at a book. I leaf through a couple of pages. I'm nauseous. I can't even look at it, let alone read it. So I say, "Are they different?" He goes, one guy writes 20 different ones, So I tell him like this, "Listen, I have an idea. I want to try something. How do you sell them? How do you buy them?" He goes, "We buy assorted gross." A gross in those days was a dozen. It's 144. So I said, "How much would you charge me for 144? He says, "One shot, you're going to... I go, he gives me a really good price. So I order a case. So the case comes in, and I got this case of pocketbook novels. So I tell the guy, I says, "Is there a place that wraps Christmas presents or presents?" He goes, "Yeah, 2 doors over." So I take the case in there, and I tell this girl, I want each one wrapped up. So she's showing me different paper. This paper will cost you $1.50. This paper, I go, "What's the cheapest paper you have?" She looks at me and she goes, "Newspaper." So I said, "That's a great idea. Wrap them all in newspaper with a string around them. Not fancy." And then I decided to try something. Every time I went out with a girl on the second date, I gave her this book, this romance novel, and I told her these words: "This made me think of you." Now, I never read what it is. I don't even know what the cover said anymore. Every time I get... And the books were cheap. They were like 75 cents. I think I paid 25 cents each in those days. So the guy tells me, he says, like, I tell the girls, "It made me think of you." I get a call back. The first time I gave the first book away, she goes, "You're making me fall in love with you. You're so romantic." She placed me in where she wanted me to be in that book.
Yes.
Okay? And because I gave it to her, so I want to just tell you something. I bought 144 books, and I have to be honest with you, and I'm not exaggerating, I fucked 144 times.
From those books.
It was from those books. And I bought another case of those books and did the same thing. And every time I went out with a girl, I would give her the book, "This made me think of you." And they would chase after me. Because they would talk to their friends. They would say, "He's so romantic."
Mm-hmm.
Now,
But you know what, David? And guys, we're here with David X from DavidXDating.com. If y'all want to call in, 347-838-8420. That's 347-838-8420. Press 1. David, there is something in those books that if you don't believe me, homework assignment, sneak over to a bookstore, pick one up, and just read it. It will give you the key to why those women want men. The book is based off a woman who has a boring life. She's with a boring man in a boring town. And then some asshole either rides in, walks in, flies in, skips in, or rides on his motorcycle in town. Him and the woman don't get along. Then all of a sudden he's got her face in the pillow, her ass up in the air, and he's fucking her. And David, these women have been conditioned to read these fucking books, and they have been conditioned to know the difference between a man and a weak-ass guy. What's your take on that?
You know, I agree with you 100% because all the women in the world, the strong women, read these books. I couldn't read one more than for like a minute. I think it's dribble. But these women, they read these books. Yes, their lives are terrible. They want this romance in their life, and just the fact that you gave them the book, you fit the bill.
And a lot of these guys don't realize, David. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, sir.
No, that's okay. No, that's why you don't realize. And yes, you're right. And these guys don't see it. They just don't.
They see this lie that has been these stories that have been plugged into these guys. You know what? We're nice. We treat women the way we want to be treated. The difference between us, and this is very huge, is that we can say no to a woman or accept a woman saying no to us and not giving a fuck what she says, and we will move on to her friend just as fast. I think that's one of the differences. Because, again, they think we, quote unquote, bad boys. We're evil, we beat women. No, we don't do any of that stuff. I'm a nice guy. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. I watch Star Trek, Star Wars. Hell, I even watch fucking SpongeBob with my kids sometimes. But you know what? Put me in front of a beautiful-ass woman, and I'm getting that pussy 10 times out of 10, man. What's your take on that, man?
You're 100% right. Here, I got to tell you, I make you laugh. I get cravings every once in a while. Now, tonight, my craving was drinking Kool-Aid and eating jujubes. I don't have to explain why I'm doing it. I enjoyed it. A lot of guys are afraid they're not going to be macho if they tell people what they like, what they do. No, you can watch SpongeBob with your kid, and it doesn't make a difference. You're doing something totally different. You're doing something totally different. You're bonding with your child, so that's totally different. It's a wonderful thing. Okay? My son comes in the other day and I tell him like, come here and give me a hug. So he comes and gives me a hug and I tell him what's happening with the women. So he sits me down, he starts telling me the story, and he says to me like this is, because I remember when I told him you have to make your set of rules. 3 strikes and they're out. Don't chase to the 4th. And he says to me like this is, you might be wrong. You might have to give 4 or 5. So I said, look, doesn't matter how many you give, but you have to be strict on what you do. So he says, I'm going to give him 4 or 5. And yesterday he comes to me and he says, you were right. If you don't fuck them in the 3rd time, they're just playing with you. And that's what it is. That's what it is. You don't fuck them. Why play with you?
Yeah. And David, you said it, guys, write this down. Time, your time, and again, guys, you should have the attitude, I don't want to waste my time. That means if you are lucky enough and gracious enough, and it's your lucky day to have me stop what I'm doing to talk to you, and then I want to give you one of my quote-unquote Willy Wonka golden tickets, then it's your lucky day. You won the lottery. All you have to do is cash that motherfucker in, and we're good to go. But if you don't cash it in, I don't give a fuck. Look, even if I get her, David, I don't give a fuck because you know what? It's expected as a man to get these women. Getting a piece of pussy is a perk to a man, and that's why I don't think these guys understand. That's why we get so much pussy because we don't put everything into getting pussy. What's your take on that, man?
You're right. You know, yeah. You know what? For me, when I went out to get pussy, I got pussy. It wasn't like, oh, I've gone out 5 days this week and I haven't gotten pussy. Fuck, what's going on? You know, it's like getting back to that other story when one of my friends says to me, guys don't get pussy like you get pussy. And I go, I don't believe that. It's too easy. I didn't find it difficult because I didn't try to trick the girls. I didn't try any bullshit. I was straight. So I go, no. When I realized that it was true that these guys couldn't pick up women, I didn't want to help them. I said to myself, fuck, there's like much more women for me.
Yes.
These guys are sitting there around playing games. All these women are for me. I took it at that attitude. And what my friend kept bugging me all the time. Come on, you got to help guys. I go, why? Nobody helped me. I went,
right.
I'll tell you. When I went out with a few close friends to pick up girls, I remember the last time we went out, 4 guys, and I was an hour and a half in the club, and I picked up a girl, threw her into my car, took her to my place, and I fucked her all night. About 2 hours later, I get fucking knock on my door. Bang, bang, bang. I go to the door. My friends are there. Where'd you go? You left us at the club. What the fuck's wrong with you? I picked up a girl. I brought her back to my place. What am I, your fucking babysitter?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing here? Go down and pick it. Oh, no, you're not fair. You left us there. All kinds of bullshit. So I stopped going out with my friends.
Oh, absolutely.
I used to go out. And these girls would say to me, are you here alone? I go, yeah, if I'm here with my friends and I pick you up, they get pissed off at me. And that would be the truth. You're not only fighting the women, you're fighting the guys' attitude too. And not only that, so many guys, you start talking to 3 girls, and there's a guy listening in, and he tries to cock block you. Tries to say, oh, he just wants to fuck all of you. Yeah, I do, but that's none of your fucking business.
Okay, Dave, we got a call, big guy. Guys, if y'all want to call in, the number is 347-838-8420. That's 347-838-8420. Press 1. But see, this is how it is. See, David, when you're talking amongst men, you're always going to get a call from a man. And I think this is a man that's calling in. Let's bring this man in.
Hey, you guys! Cut that bitch off!
Area code 219, all the way from Mode1.net, I think. This is Alan Roger Curry. You are on with David X and myself. What's up, Alan?
Man, I didn't want to interrupt this flow because y'all had such a nice flow going, man. But I just had...
You know what I told him? You know what I told him at the beginning of this call? I told him that I didn't want you to thank you yet for putting us together.
Well, hey, I'm glad I did because this has been a great conversation and great back and forth. Matter of fact, David, it's funny. I thought I heard all your stories during our friendship, but you told at least 2 or 3 stories I hadn't heard before. So I've been amused. But I just wanted to quickly throw in just a couple quick anecdotes by David X. Then I'll bow out. But one, Steve, your followers know, I know when you and I talk, you have acknowledged that one of the most frustrating things for you is when one of your clients is asking you for advice and you say ABC. And then your client says, well, what about D, E, and F? What about G and H? And he's like, motherfucker, I told you, A, B, C.
Flour, eggs, milk.
Well, I thought your classic line is, who told you to think?
Well, who told you to think? Right. That's why David says the same thing, but he doesn't say it. Look, got to do is follow the playbook. Who told you to fucking think? You know, you are a sheep. You are a male. You're trying to be a man. So in order to be a man, you need to shut the fuck up and follow the playbook. I'm sorry, Alan. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. And here's the funny thing about David, man. You know, it was. You know, I think I had interviewed him 2 or 3 times. Then we meet for the first time in London, and so I get to see him in action. He gets to see me in action. And the thing that probably was the most eyebrow raising for me is that David gets really intense with his clients or potential clients, particularly if they're not listening to what he says. So, as you know from interviewing him tonight, he has his 2 rules. And his first rule is don't give a damn what women think. But yet, when we were in London, he had all these guys say, hey, David, like, what if I say XYZ and a woman starts saying this and she starts thinking this about me and she starts developing... And then, on these 3 or 4 occasions, he walked off the stage and got in these motherfuckers' faces. Like, I'm talking about 2 inches away from their face.
Like a man.
Like you bitch. You fucking bitch. What did I tell you? What are my fucking 2 rules? What are my fucking 2 rules? What are my fucking 2 rules? Don't give a damn what women... Then why are you fucking asking me what a bitch thinks?
You know, I gotta tell you something. There's the guys that don't think like us. They give these guys 100 tricks to pick up women. 100 tricks that don't work. And these guys, when they try to use their tricks, they come back later and the guy says, "Oh, you didn't use it right. You did CEF, but you didn't do GHK." You know? When it only is ABC.
Another thing is, Steve, you know my 4 categories. I have 4 categories I always talk about of women. I tell men you're going to either run into a reciprocator. That's a woman, if you say, hey, I want to fuck you, she'll say, yeah, I want you to fuck me. Rejector, you say, I want to fuck you, she says, no, I'm not interested. Wholesome pretender, that woman going to try to give you some token resistance, give you a few shit tests, but she's going to eventually give you the pussy. And my final one is the manipulative time waster, which is a woman who's going to spend days, weeks, months leading you on to believe that she might give you some pussy when in reality she has no plans. So I'm interviewing David. I say, David, what's your terminology for a manipulative time waster? He says, that's a bitch. He says, I have this client, right? And he's chasing after this woman. And she misleads him for like something like 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years. I said, did you ever fuck her? He said, no, I never fucked her. You chased her for 2 or 3 years? Here's a classic line he said. She's a bitch. Now, she's a smart bitch. But she's a bitch.
You know what, David? I want to ask David something. David, you said something in a video I saw a long time ago in one of your boot camps. I hope you remember this. Can you talk about the foxhole and why you were talking about these guys would never be in the foxhole with you? Do you remember that conversation you had, David?
I don't remember it, to be honest with you.
All I remember is you saying, hey, look, if we were at war, I would never want any of you in the hole with me because y'all get me killed. By the way they are and some shit. That shit was classic, but I'm sorry. But anyway, guys, we're here with David X from DavidXDating.com as well as Alan Roger Curry. But David, talk to us, David. How can we change these young men and to stop thinking about the quote-unquote magic pill? How can we do that, David?
Well, there's the problem because we're honest guys. We're not fancy-dancy marketers. We're not promising them to fulfill their dreams, their fictitious dreams. Look, when I started in this business, I had to think. I thought for weeks, how could I help these guys? I'll give them 2 sets of rules. 2 rules. I'm not God. I'm not going to give 10 commandments. I'm going to give 2.
Right.
2. Not 22. 2. Who cares what she thinks? Okay, who cares what she thinks? What does that mean? It means you don't care what she thinks. What does that mean? It means you don't care what she thinks. You don't give a fuck what she's thinking about. And what's rule number 2? You're the most important person in the relationship. More important than her? She's not going to like that. Right away, you're thinking about what she's thinking about. She's not going to like that? Are you sure? Well, she's going to think I'm a selfish guy if I'm the most important person. Is that what she's thinking about? How do you know what she's thinking about? I don't fucking know what she's thinking about. And I get laid 100 times more than you.
Hold on a second, guys. We gotta go to the Hall of Justice, man. It's some man shit. Hold on. Let's go.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Okay, David, please continue. Because, David, guys, we're here with David X. I want to call in 347-838-8420. That's 347-838-8420. And, guys, please don't be intimidated by the man that is known as David X. This is what draws women to guys like us, because you hear the power that is coming out of him. He doesn't give a fuck. He didn't say he didn't love women. He's telling you he just loves himself that much more. That's all he's trying to tell you guys. But please, David, please continue.
I got to tell you, I was in England with Alan. We watched all kinds of guys. I watched Alan in action. He hit on a whole bunch of girls, and he told them what he wanted. And then there was this one guy there who comes up to me and he says, I'd like you to endorse what I do. And I look at the guy and I tell him, no, I can't do that. You're full of shit. I can't endorse what you do if you're full of shit. I'm not going to put my name on something like that.
Hold on, David, what was it? Can you tell us what it was?
Well, I have a sort of rivalry which actually started at that time with this person, and it's just that he was misleading. He wasn't a pickup artist. He was more of an organizer, and that's all he was. But he comes across, he takes guys out the road with him, and they pay him a fortune of money to watch him talk to women. Man, guys have asked me to go out with them. I've only taken guys out that are really, really in bad shape. And every guy I've taken out tells me after, I didn't realize how easy it is. Thank you, you helped me. That's what I want it for. But I'm not going to take guys out every week because they want to go out. They have to try on their own. They've got to give it the effort. And I can't accept that I'm any better than anybody. I can't accept that you or Alan are worse than me. I can't accept it. I'm a guy. What do I like? I like to fuck women. What do I like to tell women? I like to fuck women. What do I like to do with women? I like to fuck women. That's, is it so hard? I'm focused on what I want. Do I want to listen to them? No, I don't want to listen to them. I'll talk to the girl. I'll say, what's your favorite food? She'll tell me Chinese food. So if we go out for lunch, I take her for a pizza. She'll tell me, I thought you were going to take me for Chinese food because I told you I like Chinese food. I look at her and I go, but I didn't feel like Chinese food. I wanted to know it's me that she's got to take care of, not her.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea. I don't
you know
care
what,
what.
Dave?
I like.
You know what, David? I've seen, unfortunately, and I tell a lot of these guys, unfortunately, a lot of these guys, like you were saying, the misleading ones, is that they will run a boot camp, let's say a boot camp at $2,000 a head. What they will do is they will take like $500 of that money. They'll hire like 4 women. They'll put them motherfuckers in the bar in different areas, and then they will use the invisible card trick to one. Get her, then go to the next woman, and these guys think that these guys are doing something. And the problem with that, David, is that women, now again, these guys understand a scorned woman, because if you try to fuck over a woman because these guys think they're so stupid, these women will get you back, take you for what you have, and not give you one whiff of pussy, man. What's your thoughts on that, yo?
100%. Listen. I've seen too many of these guys. I went to seminars in California, in Los Angeles, in Chicago, and I'd see these guys, and it wasn't usually the guys that gave the seminar. It was other guys, like Mystery would come over there just to take guys on the road, and he was full of shit. He's just entertaining them. He's got a top hat on. He's got different colored fingernails. He's doing tricks for them. Hey, he's not doing anything. He's not picking them up. He doesn't take them home and fuck them. He just entertains them. Is that what you want to be? You want to be a fucking entertainer? Go work in Hollywood.
And David, I always tell these guys that, you know what, someone has to pick the apples. And don't get me wrong, and I never try to be mean to the guys, David. I want to get your thoughts on this because, look, if I could give all these beta males and Charlies a fruit basket to say thank you for all the pussy that they have got me, I think we wouldn't have any more fruit left, because they don't understand how they creep and weird women out by the silly shit that they do and they say. And they draw them over to guys like you, me, and Alan, when we are just regular guys. What you see is what you get. We don't have to sugarcoat it or candy coat it. If you like me, you like me. If not, fuck you, I'll fuck your friend type attitude. What's your take on that, man?
It's like I said. It's like the guys in the Lair group. They're one group of guys who are at the worst of this. They sit around and talk about lines they're going to give these women. And these women, as soon as they see them coming, they go, let's see who I can use and abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these guys, what was it? I was listening at the Lair. I go, guys, can anybody describe a successful night? Oh, yeah, I can. Okay, describe a successful night. Well, I went to a bar. I started talking to a girl. She gave me her number, and I came home. I said, that was successful? Have you called the number? No. Why not? Because I didn't want to find out if it's good or not, because I've gotten so many bullshit numbers. Are you serious?
You know what a successful night for me is back in the day was going to a club, picking up a woman, taking her home and fucking her, hooking her on me and shit, letting her go, going to sleep and chill. Now, the successful part was not the fucking the woman, because, again, as a man, that's expected. I mean, getting pussy is like breathing to me, so that wasn't it. The successful part to me was that I enjoyed myself going to the bar and getting me my little, I got a cake-ass, half orange juice, half pineapple, because I don't drink and shit. But to me, that is more success. Picking up the woman, taking her home, screwing her and all that other stuff, that's to be expected, because it's that fucking easy. But these guys, they put more into trying to pick up a woman than fixing themselves, David. Why do they do that, man?
I got to tell you something. For me, a successful night is the last thing she says to me is, Whoa. That's a successful night to me. What the fuck? Do I care? What what do you want? You don't want to fucking suck on my dick? I'll put it in your pussy, but that's it. That's where I draw the line. You have a choice. I gotta get her fucking number? What do I need your fucking number for?
Hold on. Wait, David. What did she say again?
Whoa.
Guys, if y'all have listened to anything this whole night and picked anything up, if you and your friends don't have conversations like this, then you need to get rid of your fucking friends. Because this is what men talk about. They talk about their accomplishments. They talk about the hunt. Like Alan on that motherfucking Serengeti. Hey, David, what did they say again?
Huh?
What did they say again, David? I'm sorry, Dave. Please continue, dog. I just love that shit, boy. Oh, man, she goggling your balls or something, man. What the fuck?
I tell a woman there's only 2 cases I'll lie to them. And they're not serious. They're just 2 times I'll lie to them. One is when I'm coming in their mouth and I'm holding their ears. And the other one was when I'm playing with their ass. I tell them, tell me as soon as it hurts and I'll stop. And I ram it in. I lied to you,
David,
I guess.
When you ram it in, what do they say? How do they sound?
Oh, fuck! They sometimes have deeper voices than me.
Oh, shit.
Oh, goodness.
Now, Steve, I don't know if you heard this story, but you probably did, but when we were in London, one other story in London, we were on stage talking to these 2 women. And I'm going back and forth with them. David's going back and forth with them. Then there's this kind of pause when none of us really say anything. Then David just looks at him, just gives him this look. Then he says, I know your pussies are wet. The whole audience is just looking like, damn. He says, I know your pussies are wet. And the girls, it was so funny. It was interesting watching them because they just start kind of looking down and, blushing. He says, I know your pussies are wet because I can smell them. I dare you to tell me your pussies are not wet. And they just kind of look at each other like, oh, my God. And he says, you can't be sitting here with 2 men talking to you the way Alan and I are talking to you and not have your pussies wet. And it was such a powerful moment, man, that the guys in the audience needed to see. Because 99% of those guys in the audience would never have the balls to even make that comment to a woman. But as you pointed out, Steve, and I think this is a common denominator all 3 of us have, is that, yeah, of course we want the pussy, but we don't make that the be-all, end-all. It's more about having the backbone of a man. I mean, because you can luck up and get some pussy and still end up being a bitch. And that's what a lot of guys don't understand. See, if the pussy is your end game, and you just concentrate on that, then you ain't going to be motivated to change anything about your confidence, anything about your backbone, anything about all your weak, ineffective attitudes. But if you concentrate on just being a fucking man, which obviously used to, the whole thing is the man mindset, and David X when I was watching him in action in London. That was more so his message. You know, his thing was, the pussy is gonna come, but the first thing you guys need to do is stop being a fucking pussy and be a goddamn man.
Right, and I want to ask David something because David brought up earlier in the interview he was at the table with his wife and the woman that was talking shit about her man. David, I want to ask you something because when your wife answered your question with total respect, I'm sure I won't say that woman's pussy got wet right there, but I think the curiosity of what are you doing to make your wife so submissive and respectful that I'm not doing to my man? Did you notice that there was some sexual tension with that woman?
There was, you're right. There was a lot of sexual tension, but it has nothing to do with making my wife submissive. It has to do with, again, honesty, trust, and respect. I respect her, and I don't. If she wants to say something to me, if she has something she wants to alter our relationship or my personality, she doesn't have to do it in public. But that's not the problem. Believe it or not, I'm such a fucking prick ego. I don't think there's anything wrong with me, So I'm not worried about that happening. But the fact of the matter is, I felt bad for my buddy. She was ragging on him like he was a piece of shit. I mean, I couldn't believe how she talked about, he doesn't do this right, he doesn't do that right. He does, she's ragging on him. And I told her, I said, if my wife would talk to me even 10% of the way you talk to him, I'd throw her out. And it could never happen. If your woman feels that way about you, it's time to go. That's the reality. It's time to get the fuck away.
But the problem, David, with a lot of these guys, I don't get your opinion on this. The problem is that they don't let these women qualify for the dick. They think it's all about the pussy, and I keep telling these motherfuckers, look, I'm not trying to get on your team. For me, you with a Williams. You with the motherfucking Williams. And if you want to get with me, you need to show me why I need to give you some of my time. Because like you said before, time is our most valuable asset that we have as men. And I don't want to waste it. And I don't understand, David, why these guys want to waste time with a woman they taking bubble baths with their clothes on. Why is that, David?
I can understand taking a bubble bath with a woman, but I can't having my clothes on. I can't understand that. And I got to tell you something. These guys, and this makes it bad for us other guys, because the women are still looking for guys like that. They want to weed through guys like that to find guys like us. Mm-hmm. But it gives us a hard time at the beginning. They're ready. They're already pretending we're like them, and we have to go through a lot more tests. Well, actually, after you get to a certain level, who gives a fuck about your test? Go fuck yourself,
David, that's the whole point. Who gives a man, David? If they just knew that it was their birthright to go out there and fuck and get these women, if they just picked up that piece of paper and realized that they don't have to cater and bend over backwards for their pussy, because David, I mean, I get it, but you know what? Sometimes, David, let me ask you: do you ever feel like? 'Cause I always feel this way. Do you ever feel like you crash landed here on this planet and you just don't belong? Do you ever feel like you just don't belong here when you see men or males like you that act more like bitches than men?
It's a funny thing you should ask. I don't know if it's because of their fathers or because of their mothers, or a combination of both. But they don't act properly. Yeah, you're right. And I look at myself and I go, how come I get women so easily? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing different. I can't figure it out. I don't have any concept of what I'm doing and they're not doing. I'm just doing. I can't figure it out.
Now, you know what?
No, go ahead, Alan.
Oh, I was just going to quickly say, David, you know one thing, the last time I interviewed you, you said something important that I think guys need to hear or get across their thick skulls is that a lot of these guys will ask questions along the lines of, well, you know, what can I do to keep her? And, you know, man, you know, I don't want to do anything or say anything that's going to piss her off and make her leave. But you were talking about, you were telling a story about these two women you were fucking. And I want to say one of the two women started having issues, and you didn't change your behavior to try to keep her around. You were like, look, if you want to go, there's the door. Take care. See ya. I mean, it was like that was very simple but yet profound advice. It was like, you don't force women to stay in your company. And I'm sure Steve has never in his life tried to force a woman to stay in his company. You're like, bitch, if you got problems with my behavior, then get the fuck out.
It's not even the problems, Alan. It's the one that like David said earlier in the interview is the changing of the rules, man. It's the you know we were just a fuck and now I want to be yours or something like that, or you know it's just silly shit like that. But David,
yeah,
let me ask you something. Oh, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead. Please respond.
That happens a lot. You know, women want to change the game in the middle. You know, if they listen, they fall in love with you, which is at any time they don't want to leave go. So you're always, but I look at that as a good problem. You know, it's not a bad problem. But you know, don't forget. It's like I say, and I hope that the guys or the women out there don't find this derogatory. I find there ain't that many women who know what they want. There's more men who know what they want. There's more women who want to manipulate. But I don't think they really know what they want. And when they meet a guy who knows what he wants, they're in heaven.
Dave, I got to ask you a question, David. I don't know if you've ever been asked this question, but let me ask you this question because I always talk to my boys about this. Have you ever had a situation or had to deal with one of your friends or acquaintance, his wife just trying to throw the pussy on you, and then when you tell your acquaintance that, look, man, hey, I'm not trying to fuck your wife, and then he gets mad at you because the woman's trying to throw the pussy on you, but he gets mad at you for her throwing the pussy on you. Have you had those situations before?
Yeah, I don't get it exactly like that. I get it like he says, "What did you do?" See, it's like my fault. You know, what did you do? What did you do to her? Tell me what you did to her. Because she's a fucking saint. You know. She's a fucking saint. She couldn't hit on me. It must be me hitting on her. You get that all the. You know what? Listen, it's like you said. Hey, am I here from another planet? Probably, because with me, life is very black and white and simple. I respect women. I expect them to respect me. They don't respect me. I'm history. Simple as that. And they chase after me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and yes, there are some that listen. There's some that want to make you trouble. There's, you know, I was just talking the other day to my son. He says to me, "You think somebody's going to knock on the door and say you're my father?" I say, "Could be. I'm never going to be surprised." He says, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah. Well, you know what the hell." I went out with women, and I have to tell you, I went out 6 women when I was young told me that they were pregnant. 2, I got them abortions. 2 never were really pregnant. and the other 2 could never have children. But 6 told me they were pregnant. And 6 wanted, and I remember one of them, the one that couldn't get pregnant, she couldn't even have children. She went to her father. And her father and her went to see my dad. And I was lucky. My dad was real cool. So they said to my dad, you better make him marry my daughter. So my father says, are you kidding? You can't make David do anything he doesn't want to do, and I'm not going to start now. He's a man. He's old enough. You deal with him on your level. I'm not going to tell him what to do. Now, that has a lot to do with the way your parents are with you. My parents respected me. If it doesn't start there, then you don't get respected by women.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Absolutely. But you know what, David? You know how you would know that you had a son from somebody else and he came knocking at your door? You know how you would know, sir? He'd knock on the door. He'd knock on your door, and he'd go, goggle, goggle, goggle. You would know. You would know he's yours, dog.
You know what? It's funny.
I
used to bug my kids all the time. Anytime somebody knocked at the door at supper time, I'd say, "Oh, it must be one of my kids coming over." They would freeze.
But David, because we got, let me see here. Let me see how much time we have. We have 9 minutes to go, guys. And I don't know if David's going to be able to stay on much longer because we are going to go into overtime and everything. But the number is 347-838-8420. We're here with Alan Roger Curry of Motor1.net. And we're also here with our guest, David X from DavidXDayton.com. He's been gracious enough to give us 2 hours. And guys, you should get a piece of bread and soak up all this information you're getting. You're getting so much information from this man right here on how we do it as men. And David, have you ever apologized for being David X?
I think once I apologized when I came so hard it went up her nose. I think that's the only time.
Oh my goodness. Man, David, boy, I see, David, here's the thing. This is why guys like us are so far away from each other. Because there's so much to gain and get in our respective areas, because there's not a lot of guys out there like us, man. And I want to say that, you know what, man, I have the utmost respect for you. I appreciate what you're doing, and it's not every day that we have men like yourself as well as Alan that will help these young men try to get to be men. And I know it's a very hard thing to do, David. I know it's like pulling teeth because they want to fight you at every turn. They want to question everything that you say because they don't understand what you have gone through. You are at an age, Alan and myself, where when we grew up, there was no internet and Facebook and Instagram and all this other fucking easy-ass shit that these kids have today. But, David, let me ask you this question. Here's the big one, David. If David X was young and in today's world, how much pussy would David X be getting right now? If you know everything you know now and you were in today's time, back then when you were a young David X, how much ass would you be getting right now, sir?
Well, you know, I have to be honest, I don't like Twitter and Facebook. I don't like that shit because I find that stuff, when it comes to, you know, it's all lies. They're all telling stories. It's all lies. And it's all trouble. Okay? I find the best thing is still the best way to meet people. None of these sites, I still meet them one-on-one, going out in the world and breathing. You know, and I got to tell you something. I wouldn't get any less pussy today as I did 30 years ago because, again, I don't want to look on the internet Because every one of my students that's tried dating on the internet ends up telling me she didn't look like her picture. She was all lies. One was a guy that he was talking to. People want to be evil. People want to be bad. I would go on the internet so I could meet a good-looking girl to fuck her. What do these other people want? They don't even think about that. They don't want that. They want to trick young guys who want what I want. Now, there's something seriously wrong with that. You know, that's why, I know it's easy, and that's a lot has to do with being lazy. It's easy to go on the internet, build a bullshit profile, build a facade, and then a lot of these guys don't meet the girls because they can't meet them. They're all lies. And a lot of the girls can't meet the guys because it's all lies too.
Mm-hmm.
So all you're doing is wasting time. It's better to go to a fucking Starbucks, sit down beside a good-looking girl, start talking to her. If she's not interested, she'll leave. Another one will come in soon enough. That's all it is. But you go on the internet, and everybody makes up stories, and everybody tries to make themselves. They want to make the girls like what they're showing, but they don't know what the girls want. So it's like a vicious circle of monotony and nonsense.
Yeah. But it's just, but you know, to me, it's like, to me, it's unfair because these women are so, they want a man so bad, you know, and when they get around one, it's like they want to capture us, you know, they want to tell their friends, they want to do all these things, and it's like there's not enough of us to go around, number one, and I kind of feel bad for these guys because they're going to get in these relationships or these marriages with these disrespectful ass women who are gonna gain weight, cut their hair short, not give them any pussy, and start telling them what the fuck they can and can't do like they're their mother. What's your take on that, man?
Well, you know, that's why you have to be careful. You have to be discriminating, and you have to, if you don't get what you want right away, the least resistance. Get rid of it, because it only gets worse. It never gets better. You meet a girl, and if she does something you don't like, it's not going to get better. She'll promise you it's going to get better, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's better. You know, like these guys, and, you know, I have a lot of guys like this. As soon as I get one of my students to meet a girl, I tell them right away, I says, don't move in for the first 6 months or a year. Oh, no, I like her, David. She likes me. Come on. I go, don't move in with her. They move in with her. I get a call from once they've graduated, I give them a present, which says when they get in trouble, they can call me up to help them out on a session. So I get, this is the normal call I get. Oh, she threw me out, and I'm all fucked up now. What do I do? Yeah. Well, you fucked up. Well, you know, I told her I was this, and I told her I was that. So you built a facade you couldn't produce. Yeah. And then we got into the relationship, and we'd sit around, and she'd say, what do you want for supper? And I'd go, now, what do you want for supper? And she'd go, well, what do you want? And I go, you choose, I don't care. I go, that's being lazy. As soon as you're lazy with a woman, you're fucked.
Yes.
So, right away, what do I do now? I want her back. I go, okay, write out a list of what you want her back for. Write out the list. Okay, I'll write out the list. I go, a week goes by, and I get a call from the guy again. What do I do? I want her back. I says, you never sent me a list. Well, I couldn't figure out why I wanted her back. Well, that's your answer.
You motherfucker. Guys,
what am I going to do? I want her back. You want why? Because she was living in the house with you and your fucking whatever she wanted? Yeah, how did you know that? Oh, it's a big surprise. You know, I'm a fucking mind reader. You know, I could never have figured that out in a million years.
Oh, yeah. Well, guys, we're about to go into overtime. 347-838-8420. That's 347-838-8420. Call in right now. If not, don't forget the DW show, 12 noon tomorrow. David, I want to say, man, that it has been an honor, and it has been truly a pleasure to be with you and be here on this interview with you, man, because there's so much knowledge that you laid down that I hope these guys are able to get that. David, again, give me the honor. If you guys want to find anything about David, please go to davidxdating.com. That's davidxdating.com, and he will be there to help you out. But, David, I'm going to give you the floor in 1 second. But before I give you the floor, just make that noise one more time. We make the noise one time. What's the noise, dog?
Listen, I want to tell you something. Okay?
All right, David. David, you have the floor, sir. Say what you want to say to anybody out there around the world listening to this show. You have the floor, sir, please.
Okay, I have to be honest with you. I have such a good time talking with you and Alan, and I think you guys can relate to what I'm going to tell you, but out there I don't think they understand. Because when I speak to you guys, I feel comfortable. I feel like we're brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I feel like our minds are going down the same. We're coming in on that spaceship together. Okay.
Yes.
You understand? I feel, and that's what I don't get too often, to be honest with you. You know, one of my first students came to Montreal to interview me, and I tell him afterward, he's interviewing me, he says, why don't you just get out of your hotel room tonight early and I'll take you out and we'll pick up some broads. No, I'm going to transcribe the notes. What the fuck is wrong with you? You came to Montreal to meet me, and I can pick up rods in like 15 minutes, and you don't want to go out with me? Now, I got to tell you something. I don't like to mention names, but that was Ross Jeffries, okay?
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
They're all shit. They're all full of shit. These are guys that are teaching kids what to do. They take their money. I don't understand. And I have never yet met a graduate from one of these guys. They're only buying more stuff all the time. These are the guys that have more money than brains. And they keep spending their money because they figure one time they're going to get the magic beans. You know, they're going to find the trick, the magic trick. And it's so easy. It's like, I don't understand. It's just too fucking easy. Women want guys like us. And that's what they're looking for. And when you show them who you are, their problem's over. It's a win-win situation. You guys, you know, that's my biggest problem. There's a lot of guys who just can't relate to what's going on. You know, even though I don't use as many women as I pick up, I still keep it informed by picking them up, you know? I still got to give them my attention. And one thing I know, women, even if I don't fuck them, they love the attention. They love being made feel like a woman, like a female, like they're wanted. And when they're wanted by guys like us, they feel even better. It's a feeling that they can't get from these nerdy guys. They'll go out with a woman, they'll be good for about a month, and then they'll fall into Mr. Laziness. And it's their own fault. They don't want to do anything. No, you clean up. No, you make supper. No, why should I? Hey. do the laundry. And then 3 months later, I hear he's throwing me out. What do I do? What do I do now? I want her back.
David, I don't mean to laugh. We're not guys, we're not laughing at you guys. We're laughing at the situation because this is how it is when we're in bed with your woman. All they're doing is telling us what the fuck you're doing wrong. I'm sorry, David. Please continue, sir.
Dude, if a woman starts to put you down, it's time to leave. You know, whatever. You know, I don't care what. If she says derogatory stuff to you, it's over. You know, I decided a long time ago, anything a woman says to me that's bad, I'm agree with it. Because they can't fight you when you agree with it. But to tell me, oh yeah, all you want to do is fuck women. Yeah, you're right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember you said that the last time I interviewed. I thought that was funny, but it's actually very true. You say, yeah, if a woman says, David, you're an asshole. Yeah, you're correct. You're selfish and egotistical. Exactly. And you say eventually they just shut the fuck up because they can't get an argument out of you.
That's right, and they like you more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They like what they can't have, David. They like what they can't have, and we are just because we love pussy doesn't mean we're not giving our respect over, our spine, and our balls over. And so, David, talk about that a little bit because some guys are probably confused now. They're like, wait a second. So what do I do? How do I do it? What do you have to say about that, David?
Well, I got to tell you something. I hope guys didn't get the wrong impression, because I can tell you, with Alan and you, I can guarantee you're a gentleman to the women, and you give more than you receive. You treat them really well, and you make sure they enjoy themselves. So
yes.
maybe they're not getting the right impression by the way I'm talking. I mean, if she's giving me a blowjob, I'm sure she likes it because she wouldn't be giving me a blowjob. And if she didn't want to give me a blowjob, I would tell her that she's really not the kind of woman I want to be with, because I love blowjobs.
Good point.
That's a great point.
Listen, I'm walking out of a subway station one day, and this girl in front of me's got the most beautiful ass you've ever seen in your life. So I look at my friend and I tell him, is that not the most beautiful ass you've ever seen? He goes, keep quiet, she's going to hear you. So I walk up 2 stairs and I tell her, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't offend you. I was talking to my friend and I said, you had the most beautiful ass I've ever seen. And she says, thank you. She didn't say fuck you, didn't get lost. She said thank you because I can be sure after I got to know her, I also realized that she spent a fortune making that ass look good. She made sure before she left the house, she looked at that ass more than I did. She wanted it to be 100%. Now, I got to tell you something. When you approach a woman and she's made her ass look fantastic and you tell her, your ass looks fantastic, she's only happy because she's accomplished what she wants to accomplish.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not doing something wrong if you say, boy, you have some figure. I love your figure. I love the way the shorts go between your legs. I love your thighs. When you're telling her something like that, yeah, you're complimenting her. The difference is women don't compliment men about the same thing. Men, it's the feeling they get. It's that Harlequin novel. There's where the difference is. Women want to hear from men about their bodies, how much you love their bodies. Women don't want to tell men about their bodies. Women will tell men about the feeling they get from them. They feel like he's a real man. He's going to be able to sweep her off her feet. That's where it works together properly. And if you pick up from a woman what she's looking for and give her what she's looking for, she'll give you what you're looking for. And it's a very amicable, happy relationship. Everybody gets what they want. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not telling any guy to force a woman or rape her. On the contrary, it's always nicer when it's voluntary and giving. But they have to know what you want them to give.
Yep, absolutely. It's sad that a lot of these guys are just, I mean, one day they blink, they're 18, they blink, they're 40, they blink, they're 75, and they look back at their lives and they're like, what have I ever accomplished? What have I ever done? There's nothing, and it's frustrating a lot of these guys. And I tell every guy, and David, I want to get your take on this, is live every day like it's your last. You know, live today like, you know what, if I died the next 5 minutes that I lived as a man, I mean, that's the best thing you can do is die a fucking man, because you know what? Y'all don't have to mourn me because I lived. What's your take on that, David?
Well, you see, that goes back to exactly what I said before. You have to take a chance and enjoy your life. You know, and when women decide to waste your time, they're committing a crime. They're pulling an injustice. They're wasting your time to play with you. If they're doing that, it's better just to tell them, fuck off. Because if they're playing with you, your time is worth so much. Like you said, you don't know how long you're going to be here. You know, I got to tell you something. I've seen a lot more. I was in the service, and I've seen guys who looked like they'd be around till they were 70. They died at 25.
Mhm.
Their life was cut short. I've seen lots of stuff. You know, a lot of guys. Look, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen. Here, we've had so many of these fucking shootings and wasting people's lives, like these going into a cinema in Florida or a club with gay people and killing just for the sake of killing. Man, I want to go in and pick up girls to fuck them. I don't want to kill anybody. There's the problem. And you have to realize it's so dangerous to go out. And I'll tell you something else. This internet dating, to me, is a scary thing because they're all lying. They're all telling stories. I was just watching this thing on one of these news shows, and they were telling about this group of people who were scamming people that they owe the government money, taking and asking for information and stuff. And people are sending the money. And they don't know if it's males or females. And there's these women going after divorced guys or widows, and they're going after widowers and trying to take money out of them. I mean, that's why life is too short. You don't need to waste your time. You have to give yourself some gauges, some rules, like 3 strikes, they're out. I don't want to waste another second.
Right.
If you waste, if you go for 3, look, I got to tell you something. If I didn't fuck them on the 3rd date, they never heard from me again. And they would call me back later, what's the matter? You didn't have a good time? I go, no, I didn't have a good time. You want to know what my good time is? My dick wasn't down your throat.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, David. David, I always tell these guys, when they get a chance in every day, just drive by the graveyard, because everybody there thought they had tomorrow coming to them. And these guys just, they think they have tomorrow coming to them, and they wait for tomorrow or next week. You know, I see her, David, but you know, no. I'm not gonna talk to her today or right now. I'll do it next week, and then here you or Alan Roger Curry comes by, scoops her up, is fucking her. Then he wants to get all mad. Well, what about me? I was going to wait till next week, and it just came along. And man, look, David, these guys need to understand. At the end of the day, to be 1,000, it's a competition, dog. You can't sit and expect the pussy stork to come knocking at your door and dropping off a bag of pussy, thinking you gonna get it, man. Why do they think that shit, man?
I don't know.
It's just crazy. But you know what, David? Look, man. I know you said you're gonna give me a few hours, and we were welcome to stay on longer. How you feeling? You feel good now?
You know what? To tell you the truth, I was going to mention this a couple of times, but I never got. I got so into the conversation. If somebody wants to call and ask me a question, because I'm going to give it another 5 minutes and sign off.
Okay. Yeah, if anyone wants to call, ask David a question, press 1. But you know what the sad thing is, David, and this is the normal thing that myself, I don't know if Alan gets this, but you know, Rosebud gets this, is that when people are around men, that you know what, they could really tell what they are at the end of the day, because they can't sit at the table, but they don't want to ask the questions to get at the table. They rather sit and get all the crumbs that we leave on the floor by living lives as men. And to me, David, I tell you, when I had a mentor, I learned, man, I would bug the shit out that motherfucker. I want to know everything so I can wake up like Neo and be like, man, I know Kung Fu. What's your take on that, man?
I agree with you, but you know, the trouble is there has to be something wrong with guys who don't listen. Who who think they're going to find an easier way. They have the right way, and they go ahead and they go so far, and then they change. Oh, let's try this other guy. He has a better system. There's the problem. You know, it's like the guy. You know, it's like the guy who sees 2 restaurants, and they're only serving lunch till 3 o'clock, and it's 12 o'clock. He goes into one, he says, what are you serving? He goes into the other one, he goes, what are you serving? He goes back and forth and back and forth. Next thing you know, it's after 3, he doesn't get any food.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Too busy
the problem.
going back and forth. Mm-hmm.
Too busy.
And you know, and you know what? You know what, David? To me, you know, it is a problem. But you know, for a man, like David, see, this is what they understand. And you said it earlier. See, the motherfuckers I roll with, they don't want to give out the information. Why tell these guys how to get the oil, the diamonds, and the gold? Why not leave them to their devices where they walk and work for us? These guys don't realize there are undergrounds, there are syndicates, there are groups of real men that don't want this information out because they enjoy the luxury of fucking all these women. What's your thoughts on that, man?
You know, there's always people like that out there, and there's really nothing you can do about it. They doubt it. What can you do?
Mhm. No, absolutely. Well, David, you know what, man? Again, man, I wanna say that, you know what, I appreciate you. And guys, hey, look, guys, y'all know that it is very rare. Yeah, I can't recall the last time I really interviewed somebody. It's been years since I really interviewed somebody, and you know, to have the opportunity to have 2 hours of your time, David, to talk to you, you like you say, man, the time went by because when you're around men like you're and Alan, when you're around, it's like, you know, we could talk for hours and tell stories of our conquests, and you're just going on and on and on. And you know what? I just want to say again, man, I appreciate you. I respect you as a man. And guys, get your crowns out. If you want to know more about David X, go to www.davidxdating.com. That's www.davidxdating.com. David, I just want to say, man, you know, any motherfucking time you want to come in this motherfucking chop it up with us or anything like that, you are always free and welcome, man.
Well, I'll tell you, like the same thing I offer to Alan, I'll offer to you. I never refuse any time you ask me on. I love it. I love to talk to you guys.
I appreciate you saying it.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Really do, man. Well, David, we're gonna continue because David's about to go because I'm gonna talk about something else that I want to discuss that's getting on my motherfucking nerves with you guys. But anyway, David, I know you gotta go. Is there any final motherfucking words from the great David motherfucking X that you want to lay on these guys?
Well, I gotta tell you something, Alan. Thank you very much. I have to be honest with you. Thank you very, very much, Dean. I have to tell you something. Thank you very much. You guys give me back the faith. And sometimes I lose because
Wait, did we lose David? You there?
Hello?
Did we lose him? Yeah. Did we lose him?
I think we lost him.
Wait, let's see here. And oh shit, yeah, we lost him. All right, well, we did lose him. Guys, if y'all want to press 1, please press 1. We are in overtime here. I'm missing my boy, Alan Roger Curry of Mode1.net, and there's something I want to discuss that's bothering me. I'm not even going to be able to finish it all on this show, but I will definitely cover it next week. But I'm going to start talking about it today. There was an article, but before I go, I just want to say again, that was David X from DavidXDating.com. Check him out, man. Like I say, I rarely endorse people, but I truly endorse this man. I only endorse Squid, GregDoss.com, Rosebud at AskRosebud.com, Mode1 at Mode1.net, and David X at DavidXDating.com, guys. I will, I put my reputation on these guys because I know they're men. Now, anyway, getting to this thing here, there is an article that said 44 men reveal why life sucks when you're a man. This disturbed me so much that I have to talk about it, not only today, but I'm going to fucking talk more about this next week, and I want to talk to you guys. Because the things that they're saying in this article are so fucking sad. It really bothered me that a bunch of people figured that these were problems, and I'm going to start talking about them. And Alan, please, I'd like to give your thoughts as well. And guys, if y'all have any thoughts, please press 1. We'd love to have your thoughts as well. But the number one thing, and this is one of 44, so I'm gonna continue this next week, of course. But the first thing that they wrote is, number one, if you're a man, no one gives a fuck about how you really feel ever. Now remember, these are quote-unquote why life sucks when you're a man, and the first thing they say is that if you're a man, nobody gives a fuck about how you really feel ever. Who gives a fuck, Alan? And I told you, Alan, I wasn't going to cuss, but I can't help this shit. It's fucking pissed me the fuck off. Who gives a fuck what people think about you? Who gives a fuck?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. In one respect, I'm glad that there are guys who give so much of a damn, because you and I probably wouldn't get as much business, have as many clients, because the reality is, there are so many of my clients that I would literally rank that as their single biggest obstacle among any other challenges or obstacles they may have to getting where they need to be and where they want to be. that is like hands down. It's like the way I look at it. It's like pretend you and I, for our clients, created this what looked like a brick wall, and we had a design so it looked just like a brick wall, but it's actually made of styrofoam. And we tell our clients, we say, go ahead and punch the wall. No, man, I'm going to break my knuckles. Just punch the wall. Just trust me. Punch the wall. No, man, I'm going to break my hand. And we keep going back and forth. Then we even go as far as to say, okay, I'm going to let you in on a secret. It's not really a brick wall. It's foam. So go ahead and punch the wall. Now you would think all the guys would say, oh, okay, I'll go ahead and punch the wall. But it's like figuratively speaking, after you tell them, no, it's not really a brick wall. Because it looks to them like a brick wall. They say, no, man, I gotta trust you, man. I'm not going to punch that wall, man. And that's how I feel about telling men, quit giving a fuck what women think.
Yes. You know what, Alan? And guys, write this down. Something I always tell you guys, and I'll keep repeating this. They always talk about the 4 elements that you guys really need in order to get on the right pathway towards where we're trying to lead you. And one thing you always say is self-definition of how you define yourself. I talk about self-awareness and understanding. I talk about self-concept of how you see yourself. And last but not least, self-focus of, really thinking about things at the end of the day. Is there one thing in that motherfucker that I say about a woman, guys? Or am I talking about self? Everything that I said was about self, about you, not about this fucking world of thinking that you need rims and cars and nice houses and nice clothes, nice hairstyles, jewelry, and all that other shit. I'm talking about yourself, what is on the inside. And if you give that power outside, if you give power to something that you don't know, or you worry about what other people think about you, now let's go down the list. I'm talking about Alan, I'm talking about the guy that might want to date out of his race, but he's worried about what his family thinks. Or somebody might want the job, but worried about what somebody else thinks. Or you're constantly worried about everybody thinking and defining who you are. Then you are exactly where you need to be, because you will never be a man in a woman's eyes, because as you can see, the first thing they're saying is that, look, you know what, look, and Alan, I feel this way about Alan and David, and Alan and sure David feels this way about me. Look, no one gives a fuck about what's going on with them. They're their own men. They don't care if it's raining outside. You think that's going to stop him? Or if it's snowing or it's windy? He's going to be a man regardless. Alan and David will never let anybody, or myself, or Rosebud, or Squid, or anybody that we associate ourselves with, we will never be defined by what is outside of us. Our definition is a soul single-minded definition that we all have. Yes, we are all men, but doesn't mean we all think the same way, but we behave the same way. We are allowed to think different thoughts, but our behaviors are the things that make us men, and our behaviors come from self. It is not from what someone else thinks about us. It is about what we think about ourselves. Alan, what do you got on that, bro?
What's your favorite food? I know you are a food connoisseur.
Yeah, my favorite food would probably be pussy. No, I'm just playing. Lasagna.
Lasagna? Okay, we'll go with lasagna. Here's an analogy I like to give to guys. It's just like, here's the difference between being a man, or as Steve would put it, a male. A lot of guys, and David X was talking about testing. And I know I talk about that with my clients. I'm sure Steve does. Women do like to give men shit tests. One of the most common shit tests women will administer to men is to see if they can get you to change or modify some aspect of your behavior just to accommodate them. So if a woman was to meet Steve and he was raving about lasagna, she might throw out this test. She'd say, well, I like you, Steve, but I don't date guys, and I don't have sex with guys who eat lasagna, so you're going to have to stop eating lasagna if you want to date me. Now, see, a week my friend's going to be like, oh, okay, I guess I'll give up lasagna then. I mean, I'll start eating fish or something. I hope I don't piss you off by eating fish, but, I promise, I swear to God, I don't want to lose you, so I'm not going to. Well, instead of being like, bitch, you can take your no lasagna ass on out of here. Get the fuck out of here talking about you gonna try to persuade me not to eat it. I'm gonna eat lasagna any goddamn time I want to. And you know how she's gonna sound 10 minutes later? Like David X talking about,
Hey, Alan, if I wanted to, she said she didn't like lasagna. Yeah, I can let that motherfucker go. But, guys, my motherfucking ass is not only will she like lasagna, I'll be eating it off her ass cheeks while I'm fucking her. She going to love it and ask for more. Fuck that. But that's just my thing.
Yeah, but, I mean, women are always trying to get a motherfucker to change, and once they see that you are willing to quickly and easily modify some aspect or eliminate some aspect of their behavior just to please them, they know they got a bitch. They know you're basically their bitch.
You know what, Alan? What's amazing about what you're saying? This is what women don't want you guys to know, you humans out there. They're going to tell you what they want. But one thing they won't fucking tell you is what they need. Because once you figure out what a woman needs and you are able to supply those needs, the wants go away. Every woman wants to have flowers. Every woman wants you to open the door. Every woman wants this and wants that. But at the end of the day, after you fulfill those wants as a male, you're not going to get any pussy. It's the needs that you need to fulfill, guys, and the needs are M-A-N. That's it, M-A-N. However you want to take it, it's like Open Sesame, it's M-A-N. Now let me go to the second one. Second one, Alan, is that we never appear weak. I mean, and again, this sounds like a bunch of people complaining. We never appear weak. Let me tell you something. Guys, let me tell you. Look, there was one time that I cried.
No. You missed the word. You missed the word, Steve. No, the actual complaint is we can never
appear weak. Yeah, we can never appear weak. Guys, we can never appear weak. I'm sorry. Yeah, I did miss it. Yeah, okay, guys, let me explain something to you guys. The reason why we can never appear weak is because there's nothing in our mindset that is weak. Guys, I take my losses like a man. If I lose, Alan, it's a win because I gave it all up. Alan, I left it all on the floor. I did everything that I felt that I should do without pandering and begging for the pussy. I left it all on the floor. And if I win, I don't give a fuck. If I lose, I don't give a fuck. But trying to appear, why do you want to appear weak? It's like, again, it's a want from a woman. I just want you to cry. I want to see you cry. I did it one time. You know, man, what the fuck? Guys, remember this, and I'll throw to Alan. As soon as you change one thing or compromise one part of yourself that you've always lived with, she'll never respect you again as a fucking man. Alan, what you got on that, man?
Well, number one, I will co-sign with that. I mean, it's like I was in Vegas, and this guy, young guy, he's talking to me, and he said, Alan, I'm having so many problems with women. I said, okay, what's your story? He says, well, I was with girlfriend number one, and she said, Jacob, I don't like this, and this, and this. So I changed all the things she said she didn't like, and it lasted for, I don't know, maybe 4, 5, 6 more weeks, and then she dumped me. Then girlfriend number two she said, hey, Jacob, I like a lot of things about you, but I don't like this, this, and this. So I changed, those 3 things. And then the next thing you know, she dumped me. And then finally, my most recent girlfriend, she said, Jacob, I love spending time with you, but you're going to have to change this, 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 and this. And then I changed all those things, and she still dumped me. What am I doing wrong? And I said, you don't get it. He said, no, I changed everything they wanted me to change, and they still dumped me. And I said, you don't get it. He said, no, I'm sorry, man, I'm missing something. What? I said, you answering your own question.
Mm-hmm.
I said, the reason why all 3 of those women dumped you is the very reason that you were willing to change your behavior to please them. You were no longer a challenge to them. They knew they could manipulate you at will. And once a woman knows she can get you to change this aspect of your behavior and that aspect, she knows she can manipulate you. She knows she can influence your behavior. And then basically you're like a puppy dog to her. You're no longer somebody she wants to fuck. You're just like a little teddy bear, little puppy dog.
Right, absolutely.
And he was like, oh. And see, here's an important point. Now, I made this point a number of times, but I'm going to make it again. Some guys on this point, related to this point, will say, Alan, so are you saying I need to go and be like an asshole with women? I think I need to be. No, you don't need to try to be no asshole with no woman. I mean, going back to the food thing, it ain't like you need to go into a woman's house, take a slice of pizza, and just smash it on her face. Steve, I ain't suggesting nobody do that. But that's what some of you guys think. You need to go to the opposite end and go to that extreme. But what you simply need to do, having backbone means you're satisfied with yourself. You ain't got to change shit to please no woman.
Mm-hmm.
Steve ain't got to stop eating lasagna to pull no woman.
Fuck no. But you know what, Alan? I'm gonna school down to the number 6. This is very important. It says we are completely alone in this world. And guys, let me tell you. Now I'll be honest with you. Being a man, guys, let me tell you, it is. I'm not gonna say it's not lonely, guys, but loneliness is not a bad thing. Okay, please hear me out. There's nothing like walking around your fucking your house naked or whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. Guys, here's the thing about being a man and about being alone. I got to be honest with you. You're going to lose friendships. You're going to lose family members. You're going to lose a lot of things because when people realize that you are moving in another direction, okay? Everybody's moving one way, and you go in the other direction. They're going to hate you. They're going to despise you, and they're going to do everything they can because they don't want to be around you. Because you know what? You're self-sufficient. You're single-minded. That's what we talk about. Always talk about tomorrow. Being single-minded. When you're single-minded, it is very lonely because it's very rare that you meet the Allens of the world or the David X's or the Greg Dawsons or the Jay Murphs or the Rhymes. And again, guys, when I say lonely, because y'all think lonely is a bad thing. Lonely, being by yourself is not a bad thing. It's one of the most strongest suits that you can have as a man because what women will dangle in your face if you don't marry them or you don't get what they want. They will dangle loneliness in your face. They will sit there and say, you know what, if you don't give me this, I'm leaving. And then you let them leave, and then you feel lonely, and then you realize you've always wanted in your life, and then you come back begging. Alan, what you got on that, big dog?
Oh, yeah, man. Shit. Number one, you can't ever let a woman know that you're desperate for her companionship. That's just like, I don't know, giving off a big nasty fart in front of a woman or something. Women can smell desperation.
Yes.
And you gotta be a motherfucker who enjoys your own company. You know, one of the things I always tell men repeatedly is that it's okay to want to fuck a woman, but you never, ever, ever want to allow yourself to be put in a position where you need to fuck a woman. Here's one quick example of you letting a woman know you're desperate and you needy. Let's say you exchange numbers with a woman and you call a woman, you know, a follow-up call after your first conversation. You say, hey, you know, Linda, this is George. You know, I'm looking to hook up with you on Friday. Give me a call so we can discuss more details. Let's say you make that call on Tuesday. You don't hear from her on Tuesday. Now, see, a motherfucker who got high self-esteem and knows his worth, he gonna wait for her to return that call. And if she don't call, he's just like, fuck it. He moves on to the next woman. But see, a needy, desperate motherfucker is probably gonna be tempted to call her back later on Tuesday night. If not Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, hey, you know, it's George again, you know, I don't know, he might be busy or something, and, but I'm just giving you a call back, and, you know, I want to see what you done, you know, about. Then you call again on Wednesday night or Thursday morning, hey, you know, I don't know if you blowing me off or whatever, but this is bullshit. You know, I done left you 2 messages. What have you just told that woman? You have told that woman you have no other fucking options. She is your only option.
Right.
And right there, you fucked up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But on your one more thing, Steve, on your point, I know you love the old classics when it comes to movies and TV shows. See, you don't see this too much in modern day TV shows, but in old days, you had alpha males like Clint Eastwood. He'd be riding on the horse for days by his damn self.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he might run into one town and meet a bitch and fuck her. But it ain't like he was, you know, after 48 hours, man, I ain't been by myself, man. It sucks. I mean, he was cool with his own company.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And guys, if y'all have a question, press 1. If not, sit back, listen. Don't forget the D&W show at 12 noon tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time. I want to move on to the next one, and this is number 8. It's number 8, Alan. We're not allowed to have problems, only solutions. Guys, let me tell you something. Guys, and this is why I tell you, this is why I love to be around men. Because if it's one thing to have a problem to gain clarity. All right, like for instance, let me give you an example. Alan, I have problem X. I go to Alan. Alan gives me a solution. Now, as a man, he gives me the solution to the problem. As a man, I take that because I want to fix said problem. The problem with you guys is that you're problematic. Everything is a problem. I can't talk to her. As a matter of fact, here we go. I'm using a male thing. You know, Alan, I walk up to you. Alan, I don't know how to talk to a woman. Alan's like egg, butter, milk. And yet, even though he's giving you the answer and the solution, you become an asshole and then go back to him and the next day be like, Alan, I still got the same problem. Well, did you do eggs, butter, milk? No, I didn't do eggs, butter, milk. I did salt, sugar, and broccoli. What the fuck? Didn't I tell you eggs, butter, milk, motherfucker? Well, no, I said eggs, sugar, broccoli, man. That day, you know, I mean, and then you always wonder why we ask you motherfuckers, who told you to think? Who asked you to think? But let me ask you. But again, Alan, you know, I got to play Uncle Rick for a second because, guys, this is what I'm saying to you guys. Now, again, I'm gonna play this quick clip, and I ask any of you: does this man sound like a man who has problems when it comes to motherfuckers?
Ladies! Woo! It is so hard to be humble when you're looking like Ric Flair. And to cap last night's event, as I walked out of New York City today, every woman within 100 yards.
No, fuck that.
Jones, why don't you give it to him one more time? Woo! That's who's standing here today. The world heavyweight champion. Only one. And you're looking own girls, I can't stand it. Now I gotta talk. We all gotta be quiet. Woo! Talking Ric Flair. They all want to know. They all want to know. Woo! What's causing all this? You know what it is? Intensified. You're talking about all men. Ric Flair. Woo! Woo!
Now, let me ask you something, guys. Now, Alan, please hold it together. Now, guys. Now, y'all heard Ric Flair talking. Do you think that man has a problem when it comes to women? Alan, does that man sound like he has a problem when it comes to women?
No.
No, not at all, right? Not at all. Not one. Hold on, where the fuck is it at? Not one problem when it comes to women. Why? Because you can hear the confidence resonate off his voice. You can hear it. You can this motherfucker. Hey man, I'm good with some pussy, or not. If I get something, that's fine. If I don't, that's cool. Either way, I'm gonna live my life as a man, and nobody's gonna tell me different. And I'm gonna love life. I'm gonna live life, and I'm gonna enjoy life. But for a lot of these guys, and I can't find that shit, Alan. I can't find my clip, man.
Man, where's my clip? You know I love the guy
from
the Western.
Real quick. But Alan, real quick.
Okay.
Well, hold on, Alan. When you hear that voice, you heard now that voice sounds like a man, right? Right.
Right.
What does this voice sound like?
They call me sissy, but I'm not a sissy. I'm not. Why do they call me sissy?
Is that not now a lot of guys, Alan, a lot of guys may think that shit funny, but what they don't understand is women look at this. Now, guys, look, I'm not trying to hurt no feelings, and I'll repeat this one more time. Women look at you like that. Women look at you like this.
Listen. Give up on her, but I don't know what to do. I really don't. There's nothing I can do. I'm powerless here. I'm still trying so hard to fight. I'm trying so hard, but there's nothing I can do, and I just need to be with her. I have to. Love you, baby girl. I always will. You're my world. I remember the dream of that beautiful little girl someday. I still want that to come true, and I still want you to be mine forever, but they're not letting it happen. And please just don't leave. Please don't leave, and please just don't give up on me.
Now, hold on, man. I'm not trying to make your ass last time. No, the point I'm trying to make, fuck you, Alan. The point I'm trying to make is that women see you like this. You don't see it, but they see you like guys like this when you don't act like a man. Alan, what do you have on that, man?
Man, number one, a point I don't want to skip over is that, and I might have been wrong a handful of times, so I'll preface by saying that. But generally speaking, because I consider myself a seasoned veteran of the game, I can 95% of the time, I can listen to the way a guy talks and tell if he knows what he's doing with women. And a perfect example that involves Steve, I had a guy on my show that gained a lot of news coverage because he was posting these posters around New York City saying he was looking for a girlfriend, and he ended up hooking up women, and Steve happened to call in for that show. And I think you said it first, Stevie, before I did. You said, this motherfucker don't sound like he get a lot of pussy. And his name was Dan Perino. And I told him that directly. I said, dude, you do not sound like a motherfucker who knows how to seduce women and get a lot of pussy. And sure enough, later on in the conversation, he ended up admitting that he spent somewhere between $20,000 to $25,000. Who can't get pussy if they spend $20,000 to $25,000 on women? Anyway, but it was just the point that just listening to him, though, I could hear in his voice that this motherfucker wasn't the player he was trying to hype himself up to be. And, but yeah, man, you just don't, women can read so many subtle things. So many subtle things. And this is why when you get your backbone straight, everything else in a matter of days, weeks, and months will kind of just fall into place. The way you talk, the way you walk, so on and so on. But if you try to listen to these other bullshit dating coaches who give you these specific things like, yes, you have to wear your fingernails like this, and you have to, wear white toe shoes. Look at those as all branches off of a bad tree. If you got a bad tree, it's going to produce bad branches.
Yes.
Period. And so you can't go looking at, dating coach XYZ said, like, if I wear 5 earrings on my right ear, then it's going to enhance my sex appeal. Why the fuck would you even listen to some shit like that?
Yeah,
so anyway.
Dude, I just, like, guys, we got like 9 minutes left. And guys, this is what I'm trying to get across with you. And I always believe that you are a percentage of the individuals you hang out with. I am lucky enough to be hang out with men. I enjoy that. We played the clip from David earlier. I didn't play the clip about friendships, but having friendships with men, it makes you work harder at being a man. It does, because it's challenging. When you're around men, we challenge each other, because it's like like, what is that in school that they took away now? What is that shit we used to play? What is that school thing when school ended? The tournament. What is that shit called?
Tournament.
The fucking tournament where you got that field day. You remember field day?
Oh, yeah.
Field day, yeah. So field day, it was challenging, because you either got the red, the blue, or the white ribbon. You know what I mean? I know it was blue, red, then white. I think blue was first place, wasn't it? Or was it the red?
I think blue was first. Red, I think, was second.
Yeah, and field day, guys, it's like that as adults, guys. We don't, the challenge. Look, the challenge is never against an Alan or David to be great. The challenge is always within yourself to be great. You always got to push yourself further than you are. And unfortunately, Alan, we got to hurry up. But unfortunately, Alan, I always say these guys get to the edge because they think the world is flat. So they get to the edge and they just want to turn around and leave. They don't want to go forward, man. What's your thoughts on that real quick?
Well, I'm going to just go back to David X's, 2 rules, which in its own way relates to the stuff we tell each of our clients. But, okay, like Steve, for example. Steve, one thing when we talk privately, he'll always bring up, even he's corrected me once or twice on this when I allow myself to slip. But here's the thing, you guys, you can never forget related to this list, this whiny list that Steve was talking about, these 44 things that this guy's whining about. You can't ever call a woman a bitch or dog out women for exhibiting behavior that you're consciously allowing them to exhibit.
Yeah.
It's like if you sit there and say, man, that woman's a bitch because she's always drinking all of my soda pop. Why the fuck you letting her drink all your fucking soda pop? Man, she's like, this woman's a bitch. She's always taking money out of our joint account. Why are you letting her take money out of your joint account? And see, you got a lot of, and see, now I'm going to go over to the dark side, because see, on my own show, I rarely dog out single moms, but at the risk of generalizing, I want to preface, I'm sure there's some good single moms out here, but I know Steve, he likes to pick on them, but I'm going to say this. In this generation, this younger generation, a lot of you guys, man, I'm sorry, man, a lot of you guys have been brought up by your mothers or stepmothers with no masculine male figure in your life. And these women have brainwashed you to believe that you should always let a woman have her way, and that you should always kowtow to women and placate the women, supplicate the women. And, dude, the reason why I do my show and Steve does his show and David X does what he does, man, you got to weed that shit out, man. And it ain't going to happen overnight. I guarantee you, when you've had 18, 21 years of that type of brainwashing, don't expect it to be weeded out overnight, but you got to make the effort. But, man, do not buy into that bullshit that you're just supposed to treat women like spoiled queens and let them have their way. If you allow them to have their way and they fucking over you as a result of that, that's your fault.
Mm-hmm. There's only one person you can blame, and I really don't think a lot of men realize that they are the cause of all this stuff. They are the cause of why they're having the issues and problems today. And I really think, guys, it's really simple. At the end of the day, being a man is all you need to be. Because if you are a man about what you feel and what you think, you're not going to have as many problems. But you know what, Alan? Again, we have 4 minutes to go. But guys, I want to say, let me check the thing real quick. I just want to say to the guys real quick. Let me bring in you real quick. 225. You got 4 minutes. What's your question? What you got for us? 225.
Okay, I just got 2 quick questions. Now, just if a woman like is on her cell phone on a date and being disrespectful, would you just walk away, or like how would you play that? And also, your family trying to control your life.
Okay, real quick, 225, real quick. All right, I would always tell you when you remember if you're a drama-free man and you let her know that you don't deal and put up with drama from the get-go, how is she going to disrespect you later on when she know what the fuck the repercussion is of your action?
Well, you know, women still try to test you, like on a cell phone during dinner or something.
Well, then, okay, guess what? That's when you can be a merciful king. Give her another chance. And if she does it a third time, you let her go. But as far as your parents, let me say this real quick. The only person that you're allowed to tell you what to do is your mom and dad when you're under their roof. As soon as you leave their house, they're not even allowed to tell you what the fuck you can do. See what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that you don't not to love your parents. I'm saying that as a man, you are your own man. You can take advice from your parents and everything, but if they're threatening to cut ties with you because you want to do something that they don't approve of, I don't mean to be rude, but fuck you. You can't tell me what the fuck to do.
Cool.
Yeah, so, Alan, you got something on that real quick? We got...
No, I don't have anything to add. I mean, I agree. I just co-sign with everything you told him.
Yeah, real quick, 225. And again, if you want to ask that, come on and know more about that, call in tomorrow. But what I'm saying, 225, at the end of the day, man, I'm not trying to be all hard and cold and mean, but I love me just that much more. Like David said, I love the fuck out of me. I love the me. You know what I mean? So if my parents don't approve of who I'm dating or what I'm doing, is it their problem or my problem, 225?
Their problem.
Exactly. So if they're threatening to let you go, is it their problem or your problem?
Their problem.
You should be in the bed sleeping so good like a baby you want to put your fucking thumb in your mouth, goddammit, because you don't worry about that silly ass shit. And look, and like I say, and if a woman wants to be disrespectful to you that early on, cut that bitch off.
Cut that bitch off.
Yeah, cut that bitch off. That's it.
Yeah, 3 strikes you out.
Yeah, sometimes 2 if I'm in a good mood.
I agree. Yeah, sometimes I've cut women off after 2 strikes, but definitely no more than 3 strikes.
Yeah, so I just want to say real quick, we're here with Alan Roger Corey of Mo1.net. We had David X on from DavidXDating.com. This is TheManMindset.com. Guys, don't forget, next week, tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, we'll be reading y'all cake-ass emails and answering myself and Rosebud. But 225, you can call in on that show at noon if you have some more questions about that. We can get a little bit in depth, but we're down to our last 30 seconds, and this shit's about to cut off. So I just want to say thank you, everybody. Appreciate you all, and if you have any questions, go to TheManMindset.com, go to Mo1.net, or go to DavidXDating.com and get with one of us, or GregDoss.com, or AskRosebud.com. Several places you can go where you get nothing but help from motherfucking men. And I don't know how he did it, Alan. That shit, I need to grab that shit and make a fucking a clip of that shit. That shit was fucking classic. But 225, when you know your value at the end of the day, dog, nobody will touch you. You'll be one of the most dangerous motherfuckers on this block. And that's what I'm saying, dog. Look, I'm not saying don't love your parents. I'm saying don't let them rule your life. Don't let them tell you what to do. They can suggest things. You can ask them questions. But you make the final decision of what you want to do because you are your own man. Live for you. Have your purpose. You see what I'm saying, 225?
Yeah, I appreciate it.